Mixed by the bird.
That's what I'm trying to make sure my family trying to make it out each week. That's what I'm trying to do. Hustle every day of the week. That's what I'm trying. I hope I wake up when I go to sleep. That's what I'm trying to make sure my family eat. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make it out each week. Day of the week. That's what I'm trying. I hope I wake up when I go to sleep. That's what I'm trying
Shine
to do.
like a star in the sky, and it's lighting up weed. Smoking when I drive, side chick calling, but I don't pick up. Answer that. Hit me with a text, but I don't text. Nobody do it better. Daily getting cheddar. Just a few words, fuck a 4-page letter. Always trying to shine bright. Don't need lights. Got so high now I'm higher than a kite. I don't even got time for a watch. For them days in the county I was watching the clock. Tried to come up with a plot to get rich. Shining like diamonds, new diamonds in my wrist. All in my grill. What a hater feel. What you feel? Right like Rihanna trying to get a meal. I'm coming through them Franklins, Jacksons. If I start going broke, I start jacking. Show me where the stash is.
Make sure my family. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make it out each week. That's what I'm trying to do. Hustle every day of the week. That's what I'm trying. I hope I wake up when I go to sleep. That's what I'm trying to do. Make sure my family eat. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make it out each week. That's what I'm trying to do. Hustle every day of the week. That's what I'm trying. I hope I wake up when I
with my granny at the hood. Even Mom Dukes. No new friends, so I don't know you. Hustle every day, gotta see a profit. No matter what you do to get money, can't knock it. Trying to make ends meet 7 days a week. Barely get sleep when you rounding up the G's. Can't fall like Lee's in Autumn. It's embedded in me, got a problem. Trying to get fight like my mama told me. Can't retire in the streets, don't owe me. Will I sell drugs forever if I need to? I don't know
That's what I'm
better.
trying to do, make sure my family. That's what I'm trying to do, trying to make it out. Hustle every day, get a week. That's what I'm trying. I hope I wake up when I'm out. That's what I'm trying to do, make sure my family eat. Trying to make it out these streets. That's what I'm trying to do. Hustle every day of the week. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Let me get in there. Let me get in there, man. What up, y'all? Salute. Another wake and bake morning. You know what my room's smelling like. And we got this window open, man. We try to, get through the day. Allergies, all of that. I'm on the allergic podcaster. That's what I should have turned the channel to instead of What the Helly TV. But you can switch it every, we're going to play with that. We're going to play with that, right? I might even go up over there, but all in all, I want to see what it feel like to, come up from the bottom again and redo some of the small things that you need to do, right? It's good to jump and do all this big shit, but you don't want to leave out the small details, when it comes to promoting, you dig? So we dibbling and dabbling. Like I said, the stream's up. We own the content, right? We independent. Buck City Reloaded. Salute. The BR logo. Real simple. Real simple, man. Salute everybody in the building. Bloodthirst in the building. Eclectic in the building. Salute. J83. Hit me in the building. What up, brother? Smash them likes. Let's get it in. Get that APBT magazine right away. Jump on that joint right away. It's out now. It's out. I mean, we always got something available. So it don't matter. You see the show. We're going to have 1,000 shows. We're promoting this brand right here. APBT magazine. The brand. Getting it in. That's all we know. That's all we know how to do is get it in, man. That's all I know. Salute all my brothers. Father's Day was yesterday. The day was going smooth, and I seen some 304 dude try to, I hate when women try to say Happy Father's Day to themselves. I hate that shit, I think it's a lack of accountability. I hate that shit. And there was a dude that did it. He Happy Father's Day to his mom. Like Mother's Day was last month. Like I don't get it. And then I seen a bride was like, this is my son's dad over here, you know what I'm saying? And she panned the screen to the right, and it's her best friend or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the lack of accountability, man. Beware of that. Beware of people that don't want to, like, come on, bro. You can't be a father and a mother. A woman don't know what the hell how to raise a little boy to a man. Period. It's gonna be shit that guy is gonna be picking up from other places and not his fucking mom. Just like if the dad was in the household, he's gonna pick up things from other men, other alphas. So look, man, we only get one day. They said that Father's Day is like Groundhog's Day. Nobody cares. Without Googling it, who can tell me when Groundhog's Day is? Like, we've been talking about this shit. Fuck is Groundhog's Day, dog? It ain't no flowers. It ain't, I mean, I guess, I don't think we give a fuck about flowers though. So you're probably not gonna make a bundle, setting up tents and shit with flowers and shit. You're probably not gonna make a bundle. I don't think I never got no flowers. Some flowers? Nah. No motherfucker ain't never gave me no fucking flowers, bro. But they got the Mother's Day sale and all this shit. I didn't see nothing on TV, man. Maybe my channel is different than everybody else. I didn't see none. Maybe y'all saw something. Hey, man, it's all good fun, man. It's all good fun. One thing I learned about being a dad, if you want to be a good dad, you got to learn to take the back seat. You're going to take the back seat, bro. Your family and all that shit is coming before you, and some of us can't handle that, and at times it gets rough because when you came into the situation, of course you was number one, you was first, but when you start building a family and shit, you gotta be perfectly okay with taking the back seat, bro. Straight up. Straight up. I'm not saying like decision making in the household and being overran, but just the way it goes, man. You're gonna probably be the least appreciated guy until some drastic shit happen, and then you're forced to be a hero. Then it's like, okay, dad's the shit, but if it ain't no drastic shit, you just live in a nice neighborhood, ain't really nothing going on, you ain't had to do nothing. You ain't had to go get that wild hog out there, or you ain't had to go, come on, man. You underappreciated, bro. The regular 9 to 5 guy underappreciated, man, in this world. Anyway, I saw some dudes going back and forth talking about what is a prospect and all this shit. I guess somebody sold somebody a dog, was supposed to be, I guess the dog's demeanor and the attitude was like, he could catch a hog, or, I guess it was some type of misunderstanding with the description of, what the dog could actually do, which I don't recommend even discussing. Let me put my disclaimer out there. None of this content used for, this is a dog channel. Okay, Let me see. I'm about to forget what I'm even talking about. Looking for my disclaimer, man, because it gets crucial. It gets crucial, y'all. So I guess, it was just some misinformation about the dog. Dude said he sold it as a prospect. The guy said that he told him that it could catch a fucking hog. I guess the moral of the story, the guy put the dog on the hog. The dog wasn't ready, but he was only 15 months old at that, and I'm not saying that a 6-month-old dog don't have the prey drive, to want to go get that hog. You might get some like that, right? You might get a few like that. That, even at 3 months old, they're just on demand, ready to get anything that's in front of them, right? We know this. But then we got dogs that take longer to develop. Like, we got to understand that part of the game too. Some people don't like those ones. Some people will take that one and let somebody else figure it out. Like, hey, ain't nothing wrong with him. He just young. He's still on this puppy shit. Some people, if that's what they don't like, or they want dogs that are turning on fast and all of this for whatever reason, whatever, maybe they just like to look at them being aggressive toward each other. I don't know. If they wanted to make the dogs a whole nother way and change the breed, that's on them. But they will be breeding toward that, right? But with the conversation that popped up was, what is a prospect? And there was a lot of dudes in there saying a lot of different shit, and it kind of amazed me. It was like, wait a minute, that's not. And then you got to give the new age the benefit of the doubt type of, because maybe, you've been in the game for a long time. Maybe things have changed and you're just unaware of that. That's possible. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, right? Okay. So, they talking all this shit. And they was battling it out. These dudes, they went in, what I'm saying? Then another thread popped up. That one went down. Another, what is a prospect? Boom. So it goes like that. And you got some motherfucker saying, oh man, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then he's saying, well, he told me it was a prospect. A prospect is supposed to be a dog that, wants to go out and grab something right now. He's ready to, he's not timid. He's going to go grab some shit, right now. Right. And that was, to me, that was wrong. But, there was other dog men weighing in, and everybody's got their own thing about what they think a prospect is. Right. To my understanding, and I'm not going to say and all be all, some people, they go by different rules. I talk to dog man, they look at their dogs at a year old, and then I talk to some dog man, they don't look at them till they 2.5, so everybody's got their own way of doing shit, but a prospect generally, to me, is something that's like a year old or more, 15, 18 months, 20 months, 2 years old, somewhere around those ages, right? And it's just, promising. It's a promising dog. It does not necessarily mean that this dog has already been in scuffles and, is ready to persevere and, all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I understand that that's some people's interpretation about it. But, and I'm not going to say you're wrong, but, if that's what a prospect is, a prospect, and I'll argue this. I'd love to get somebody on here and argue this. It does not necessarily mean that this dog is, you know what I'm saying? It's just, he's a good acting dog. You think that he's going to be good one day. It's a high probability that this dog is going to be somebody. And a lot of times it's like that. You get a hot ass dog, 15 months or something, and, he's never been touched, but you can definitely damn near for sure know that, he will engage. You'll see a dog like that on your yard. It doesn't mean that he's touched. And then when something like a hog touches his ass, it's the whole nother way around, or another animal is too big for him or bigger than him. And he might not have that confidence like he had when he was jumping up on the chain in his own environment and all of this. You got to understand that. That plays its role. You dig? Throw a dog a bone. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Some of y'all ain't subscribed over here. We switched it up, so make sure you subscribe. We getting it in, man. Overtime, man. Yes, sir. So, it was a real unique conversation, debate, or whatever. Everybody just going back and forth. And what you guys think? Put a one in the chat if a prospect is just a dog that's of age or over a year untouched, and put a 2 in the chat if you feel like a prospect is a dog that is already, because if we're talking about hog hunting, right? Does this dog already have to be engaging in combat with other animals for it to be called a prospect? I want to word that right. And none of this is for illegal purposes. We're just talking about a debate that went down, a debate that went down. I give you my premise. See, and then don't put the one that you would want it to be, right? I'm basing it off of facts. Off of seeing Dog Man's Yard, all kind of shit. Calling Dog Man way back in the day. And if it's a prospect, it could be a 20-month-old dog on their yard that never did anything, and that dog is a prospect. He's a prospect. He's one of them that probably that Dog Man was going to keep around, and he was raising up because he felt like he was a prospect out the gate. You see what I'm saying? Now this is a good debate. Now don't run when I drop this link. Now, you know, I don't plan on being up here long, but you know, don't run. I just want to know what the metrics is. What's the metrics about it? Dickie Foster with the super sticker, my brother.
I never knew that I would do numbers like this. I make a move. I'm tryna win. Ain't tryna lose. I'm tryna win. Ain't tryna lose.
Yo.
Top up.
Man, in there, man. We in there like swimwear.
Okay. My take
Talk
on
to me. Talk to me.
My take on this. Prospect. Ain't did too much. You know what I mean? About to be 2 in August. You know what I mean? But am I gonna throw the bitch away because she did too much? No, because in the ideal situation, she would have been brought up the same way as her. That bitch touched her first time touching a hog. She was about 5 months old, and it was a baby hog. So after that, you know what I mean? It's almost like the schooling process. Then you find a bigger hog. You know what I mean? If the dog is 20 pounds, you get a 40-pound hog in an ideal situation. If you're really in the woods, then you put her on the mat and see what she do. You know what I mean? Then you send the bitch in the woods to go get that bacon. She go get that bacon and come home with it. You know what I mean? Now you talking. Now you advancing into what you really trying to make as a catch dog. And I'm not the most experienced motherfucker at no hunting shit because my nephew and them be doing all the hunting in the woods a lot. But I do go there, and I go there by myself. No, just with my pit bull. That's it. One. And send that bitch. If I see something and I send her, she go get it. You are then proving yourself. You are something that is worthy to be bred. You know what I mean? And you know, like you said, I like you. If I like you, then you know I'm gonna make the decision upon that. But I need to see you check off these boxes, and they are bulldog
before it's a prospect.
Huh? No. I'm saying before I get to into the breeding and all that. No, you know.
No. I'm saying what at what point is it valid to consider it a prospect?
You got to see it do something.
You got to see it do something.
I got to see it.
Is that the way? Is that the way you want it to be, or is that the way that you were taught?
That's the way I was taught. I was taught that, okay, anything could be a prospect. You can see a car on the side of the road broke down, but it's a 63 Impala. That's a prospect. It's a prospect on that you know what I mean? Wish it had gold Dayton's on the hydraulics, candy paint. That's a prospect, but it ain't doing shit. I need something that's doing something. So before I could even call it a prospect, it's just a dog.
Did you get the scenario that I put out there in the beginning?
What was that?
Okay, so a guy allegedly, this is, whatever story, whatever.
Okay.
A guy buys a dog that's supposed to be a prospect.
Uh-huh.
He's a 15-month-old dog. Acts good, everything. There's a video of him. He acts great on the chain. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, oh, that motherfucker's serious.
Right.
But the guy that bought him, he sold him as a prospect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude bought him and threw him on a hog. Now I saw how good the dog looked and shit, but I didn't see how mean that hog was, and I ain't been up in there like that, right? So this hog probably could have had that young motherfucker on something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now dude was upset, thinking like, man, you sold me a prospect. You said this motherfucker, is a prospect. So he was basically thinking that the dude was telling him that the dog had already been in there with some shit before.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, That's, to me, that's false. A prospect is just something that's 15, let's just say like 15 months and up, and it doesn't have to be touched at all.
Right.
It could be a 2-year-old fucking male that this old ass dog man been having on his fucking yard for hella, and he's on the phone. He telling you he's a prospect like a motherfucker, and he ain't never touched nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Okay.
You know, and I've seen plenty of guys with websites.
Okay.
Prospect
Now,
list.
let me tell you.
Those is untouched dogs.
Let me tell you. So if me and you went in business to go mine gold, right? We both put in 1.5. We bought us a piece of property and we're gonna prospect. We don't start digging until we find gold. We literally take pans into the river, and once we find gold, that's when we start digging. That's prospecting. You gotta find something in the dog. That's just my take. Like my dog that I put on top of Ruka. You know what I mean? Young male, but a proven, you know what I mean? A proven male. Now
he ain't proven. A prospect ain't proven.
No, I'm saying mine. But in my eyes, to me, just to me, I'm a hard critic. He's a seasoned prospect. Does that make sense? He's seasoned. He got 10 or 11 brutal hogs, something that will kill you up under his belt. But still, for him to be so young and all that, I still got to see a little bit more. I need to see
one that was, let's say, one that was ready for schooling. Let's take this shit back to the 70s, right? Because we got to do that. I'm gonna put the shit on the screen.
Okay.
Let's take this shit back to the 70s, right?
Uh-huh.
We read books and shit. Everybody put their thinking caps on just for a minute.
All right.
I got this dog, and he's just about ready for schooling.
Okay.
You feel me? Think about it in that aspect.
Okay.
He's a prospect. Most of the times, guys wouldn't want to buy a dog that had already been looked at, right? So when you're buying these prospects, you're buying a dog that has not been touched. That would be more valuable than you buying a dog from somebody that he already looked at, because he wouldn't sell you a dog if he was a blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. That's right?
That's a fact.
So let's wind this shit back a little bit, though, because I think we're missing some key elements. I came with all the receipts and shit. I came, I'm here.
You know
what I'm saying?
Loaded.
And now I just want people to just think about that just for a second, because that was the climate. It wasn't this climate where you just buying a whole bunch of dogs from motherfuckers that been rolled and shit, unless you really knew that motherfucker.
Right, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you really knew that motherfucker,
you know, to start it up. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So he very well could be a prospect.
Right.
20 months old and shit. He very well to be a prospect. The owner will tell you, hey, man, take a peek at him.
Right.
All this shit.
Right.
He's a prospect. There been dogs that people done bought off of people as prospects. Get them, they don't do shit. It's a prospect.
Right. It's a roll of the dice.
Right. So I'm not gonna say he's a top prospect or he's a match dog. Right. This dog's a match dog. I'm not gonna say that. To me, that's a different level.
Right. He's a damn good actor.
Oh man, this motherfucker, shit, man. He get down. He ready to, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level right there. Right?
Yeah.
Then a prospect.
Right.
Prospect, what the fuck can you expect?
Exactly.
That's my thing. I don't think the guy was wrong for selling him the dog. I think the other guy was wrong for having those expectations for this dog.
Right.
That's just me.
Right. And I'm wondering exactly what he threw him on. Did he throw him on something? Like, because if you put a unseasoned dog in a setup with a hog that's been seasoned, You know what I mean? That dog is automatically at a disadvantage. Period. You come in there, that hog know what to do. So it's how he started him out. You know what I mean? Did you even give the dog a fair shake? You know what I mean? You put his ass up in there with something seasoned, nigga, he fit to get his ass whooped. Straight up.
Yeah. You know, I thought it was a good I said, man, let me cook on this because this, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's good to look at both sides of it. You know, I'm looking at some of these comments up here. It's a lot of tools in here. I want y'all to pop up. I dropped the link. It's a lot of tools. Because I'm looking at it from what I know, what I call dog man. And let's say I was shopping around or whatever I was doing, you know, and I'm looking at what they telling me. I done seen plenty of websites with prospects on it and talked to people that had talked to those guys, you know, on a personal level, and to know that that's not always the case, bro.
That's a fact.
You know, my dude had a double bred son of Tab. He was bought as a fucking prospect, bro. He never did shit. He was untouched. That was the preference.
Right.
We got to stop, you know, acting like, now maybe it's different now. Maybe today's different. You know, if it's a hog dog or whatever, you know, and nowadays we doing wall climb or we doing all this shit. So if you're looking for a dog for that, I got a prospect for you.
Facts.
It's not a puppy. It's not a little ass baby, a puppy. Right. He's a prospect. He probably has a great conformation on him. Those will be the criteria of the shit. Now, has he been in a dog show? Fuck no, probably.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Did he got ribbons at the house? No. So what do we expect this guy's 15-month-old dog to do?
That bitch right there, that bitch with the collar on she'll be 2 in August. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you say, Buck, I can say she'll prospect. You put her on the chain out of somebody's yard, she'll turn the whole yard up. That bitch at the end of the chain, don't go by her, she's going to try to grab you. But other than that, what can I say? You know what I mean? She ain't touched the hog, nothing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, prospect. I done seen her come up from the bottom. You know what I mean? I had a little accident. My granddaughter let her out, and the residence we was at, I've never been over there before. Bitch had a 70-pound bully, came and hit my shit. You know what I mean? She had to come up from the bottom. You know what I mean? So, you know, I brought the bitch back home with me. But other than that, like, you know, shit, that's the only little thing she ever basically done touched. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I guess that's all prospect.
Yeah.
Because I'm hoping I strike gold with the bitch when I really get the bitch in the woods and put that vest on her. I hope she go grab something.
Yeah, not real shit.
That's a fact.
You know? And that's all you go.
And the little puppy, when I sent you the pedigree, you was like, "Oh, that's a good looker." The little female on the steps, her. You feel me?
Right.
So, yeah, you know what I mean. She ain't did too much. You know what I mean. But I still got high hopes for the bitch because she's going into the woods for sure. So you're right. That man ain't wrong for selling that dog as a prospect. Somebody come up in my yard, and if I keep it brutally honest with him, like, "Oh yeah, man, 16 months, he ain't did nothing. I put him on the pin hog. Other than that, but he act good. That's a prospect, right?"
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, some people, I think we're going off of what we want it to be. And I want to hear you guys' perspective. I want you guys to call in and give me that perspective because I'm going off of facts. I'm going off of hundreds of dog men's yards.
Right.
Between 1992 and all the way up to motherfucking 2005.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now, if you can't tell me from that, then what are we talking about?
You know, I done seen a little bitch, you know what I mean, crack some, shell crack and, some more shit. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like, you know what I mean? I've seen some shit from her, so I will consider her to be a prospect. You know what I mean? But you know, for me to just point at a dog is, you know, is that a prospect? You know what I mean?
Shit, please. Sometimes, like I said, if you a breeder, you know that shit.
Yeah, you can look at them. You know what I mean?
You know that shit. You know what you got on your yard, bro. You know you done raised this motherfucker up. I done had him 20 months. I done raised him 20 months, brother. Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
This is a prospect.
Right.
You know, he might fuck around and be better than the shit you got over there with no training, bro. That's how these dogs are, bro.
They are.
That's how the dogs are. They're gonna have no training and get in there and do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, like they've been doing it their whole life.
It comes naturally. It'd be crazy. It's in them. It's not on them. It's in them.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like, I don't know, bro. Everybody got their own version of this shit, right?
like Vito say a prospect is a dog that has been raised, then looked at. We confusing prospect with potential. That's what Vito said. Vito.
Prospect is, you know, something that, you know, you might be thinking about, you know. You know, straight up.
Man, grab that magazine, man, while y'all sitting here. Grab this, put your hands on it, man. Flip through. Take a read or two, man. Smoke you about 3 or 4. Grab this. This is what you need to be grabbing right here.
The real definition of the shit.
Okay, what's the definition of the prospect?
The possibility or likelihood of some future event occurring, right? That means that if we're talking about it in dog terms, that means that the dog has not been touched. Right. But there is a possibility or a likelihood of some future event occurring, brothers. Come on now.
Sums it up right there.
I do this shit, bro.
Sums it up right.
I told you. I brought the receipts.
That sums it up right there.
I brought all the receipts just to put it to bed because I don't want to just go off of what I think it should be.
Right.
Yeah, I probably think they should be caught 2 hogs before you call it a prospect. Right. But my opinion doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it is what it is. Hey, it is what the fuck it is.
He said, but what gives the possibility? You're trolling, bro. What gives a possibility is that he's salivating at the end of the chain. Whoa. There's certain shit that gives you that possibility. You know, maybe he got 3-4 brothers that already done got in some shit. Maybe they was, you know, came out the womb scratching into each other. You know, maybe that. And then you put his ass on the chain for 20 months and he ain't no prospect. Every time you walk something by him, he's just at the end of the fucking chain. But he's not a prospect. See, we're trying to change what's already been in place. I can name plenty of dog man websites, all kind of. Oh, Kaz. I know Kaz is coming with some smoke. Kaz is coming with some smoke. Goddamn. Come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus.
What's the word? What's the word, man? What up, though? What y'all got going on?
I thought you came with some smoke.
No, what? No, I didn't even hear what happened. I was just tuning in. I didn't even know you was on, bro. What's the word?
Okay, so what is the prospect, my brother? Can I give you a little questionnaire?
Yeah.
What is a prospect, my brother?
A prospect is like a young dog, who's showing all the right things that he wanted. You dig what I'm talking about? you know, he may, he may be from a fire litter. He looked like he just ain't been for sure clicked on, but or he may have been rolled once and he showed good things, and you know what I mean. He getting to the age to where he gonna start to show something, but he young. That's a prospect.
So okay, good. That was a good answer. So
Man.
can we take that one roll out and he still be a prospect?
Yeah.
Okay, so a perfectly untouched dog can be a prospect.
Can be a prospect in my eyes.
All they got to do is show that
an untouched dog can be a prospect, and a lightly touched dog can be a prospect.
Yes. Yeah, and all he got to do is show that he want to be touched.
Okay, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
He's at that point, perspective to get his ass touched.
Soft part.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you got a 14-month prospect, but shit, you might not look at him until he's 2 years old. But that don't make him not a prospect because he hasn't been tough for nothing yet. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He may not be ready at 14 just because he. That's my analogy. Just because he a physically larger puppy don't mean he ready. He a puppy. You dig what I'm talking about? Now it's some that they mature and start showing them signs earlier than others, but that don't even mean you need to do it then, because you may do more harm than you is actually helping by saving him instead of saving him from himself sometimes. You know what I mean? So it all go into the dog, it go into the man, and sometimes you gotta go see it. He come out to be a prospect early. He come out that prospect stage early because his attitude, how he acting on the yard, he demanding it. You know what I mean? So that kind of go into each individual dog, but shit, all you got to do is act like you want some smoke, and you perspective to get it.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's a lot of people that feel that the dog needs to be touched and all of this before you can name him a prospect. I've heard some vets say that. But going off of my observation, not off of my feelings, I just feel like that was incorrect. And I just want to bring it to everybody. We could just discuss it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Buck City, how about this? One of the baddest motherfuckers I ever seen ended up just being a road dog. You dig what I'm talking about? Because these motherfuckers didn't have the eye to see what the fuck he was. You know what I mean? And then over the time, they wear down and batter up this good ass motherfucking dog. You dig what I'm talking about? Just trying to see something, trying to see if something else gonna do something. And he the real bad motherfucker. He the real bad motherfucker.
Vito.
The war is tired.
Vito's in here.
What's good?
Vito.
What up, fellas? What up?
What up, Vito?
Chilling, man. Chilling at work.
Prospect, Vito. What's a prospect, man?
Talk to us, Vito, because you had a lot of smoke in the chat, brother.
Yeah, like
Tell him, Vito.
I don't go up for all that rah. I don't go up for all that rah shit, bro. I don't go up for all that rah shit. Cause because a dog can be on all that rah shit, and then the right dog that ain't even, you know what I'm saying, could turn that bitch out without getting touched. Honestly, I done been walk. My first mentor, he stood behind this dog. I walked the bitch. A poodle runs out. The bitch runs behind me. But before I left the yard, you telling me this bitch raw, this bitch that, she a prospect, all this shit. Like, I don't go off all that barking and acting all fucking crazy. All dogs sell wolf tickets too, my nigga.
Whole
but
pack.
it's the
Dogs sell wolf tickets
likelihood.
too.
It's the
A dog selling
likelihood.
a wolf ticket is
But
diabolical.
this is one thing for sure though. This one thing for sure. Because the motherfucker don't work out, that still don't mean that it wasn't a prospect.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
a
You
prospect got
But a
every
prospect for
prospect
what
ain't gonna work
though?
out.
What
It's
is your
still a
what?
prospect.
That's not
What's the
scratch. That's the
end
opposite of
goal?
Don't
scratch.
mean not a
That's the
What's the
opposite of
prospect.
scratching.
what's the end goal?
That's the opposite of scratching. You want a dog that's gonna scratch every
But what's
time.
the
So if that bitch
what's
running
the
behind,
goal?
that bitch running behind my goddamn leg, she ain't no fucking prospect.
Exactly. That's like you
No,
gonna take out
a
5
prospect
months.
is a prospect is still you don't know.
No, a
Because
prospect is
if you already know what it is,
you ain't
it
gonna
ain't a
you
prospect
go
no
to a
more.
biker club, they're not gonna give you a jacket unless you already got a couple. If you don't already, you got to put in some work, man. Like I don't know
But I'm
what y'all talking
saying
about,
a
but
prospect,
what
a
prospect
prospect ain't
for
guaranteed to
what
work out, man.
for
no,
what
well,
though?
yeah, I
So,
mean,
so a
but listen,
prospect,
that's a
just like Buck say, let's say we got a little,
Prospect
okay.
for a house dog? What are you
This one
talking
we ain't
about though?
touched
You
yet.
gotta have an
This
end.
one
You gotta
here,
have an end goal.
let's say we got a little,
I love this.
and this one here
I
we ain't
love this
touched yet.
shit.
So we ain't touched this motherfucker yet, but the brothers out, they working, they doing good,
right.
and this one he ain't been touched. So that don't make him a prospect. He's still not a prospect because a prospect can be untouched, and
The
then you
brothers
find
might have
out
been them two.
that the
The brothers
prospect
might
ain't
have been
good.
the 2 to 3 out of the litter. You might have got the one that won't part of the 2 or 3.
But guess what? It still was a prospect because other things done shown. It was a
But
prospect. That don't mean that it's good.
okay, okay. But let's.
That doesn't mean they're
He
gonna
a
work out.
prospect.
All prospects don't work out.
Based on
So
he
you're
a
saying
prospect
every
based
puppy in
on
the litter is a prospect?
No, I'm
he
not saying that. I'm saying
That's
if
what
you
you're
call a
saying.
dog out, let's say you got 4 males
in
in
a
there,
good litter, yeah. In a
2
good
males
litter,
working.
every puppy is
Everybody,
a prospect in a good
like I
litter.
say,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get is it ain't a guarantee the prospect gonna work out. You might get that bitch in there and that motherfucker might cur down. But that still don't mean that he wasn't a prospect in the beginning. He just didn't work out. A prospect don't mean good. It
Right.
means just a prospect. It don't mean that he
You
good.
said you
The,
It
tell
the
me
don't
a
mean that
point
he
is,
prospect.
ain't working out.
the
It
point
means that
How
is,
you
it's
get to how
a
you get to the
possibility.
stage, man? Come on
It
now.
means
How
You
that
you
tell
how
me a
you
hold on,
doing
prospect.
this?
I ain't
that
looking
he
to
can
do
be
nothing but
good.
put that bitch in keep. You
listen, the
tell me
point
a
is,
prospect. I ain't looking to do nothing but put that bitch in keep.
right,
Period.
the point is,
That
Oh
part.
as a
yeah, bro.
prospect, the point is for me to see if you
You
gonna
got
end
gummy
up being
bears
a
over here,
good
nigga?
If that bitch that
fast
good,
lane
Yeah,
dog.
if
let me
that
get some of
prospect
these
that
gummy
good,
bears,
as
nigga.
soon as you sell him, you want to put him straight in the key. Shit, the man wouldn't let that motherfucker go. If that's the case. The
Huh? Who was
motherfucker got
that?
something that good that's ready to go and keep soon as you grab him. Like
Chucks
ready to go
Shrills,
and
what's
keep.
good, nigga? What's going on in Vegas, baby?
But we
What
don't
if you
know
ain't
if
been
it's
looked at
good.
yet?
How
We
much?
just
What
So
if
don't
how
you
know.
ain't
much?
been
Man,
looked
look,
at?
How long can a dog be a
I'm about to send you a
prospect?
pup, bro.
What time frame is this?
Tell me we need to win a ticket. I'm about to send you a pup, nigga.
What time
From
frame is this?
I'll be back. Hold on.
A prospect for how long? How
goddamn.
long do you get to be a prospect?
So what? So what prospect? Is you talking about the
He
possibility of
didn't
doing
show me
something
something. Hey,
or already been looked at?
that's a good question. That's my that's my dog Wing
Because
Mule.
the prospect can be unlooked at.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, but
Can we
no
agree on that?
Wing
Or
Mule
he
got
already got to be looked at and we know what he gonna do.
no. Well, look, I think I get what Wing Mule getting at. How long can he be a prospect? I think by
He can be a
usually
prospect until you ready to do something with him. And
Can you show me how long?
normally you don't do nothing
But
with him
hold
until
on,
2 years.
but usually what I'm saying is by 18 months or so, he done
18
showed you
months.
enough.
All right,
He
how
didn't
about this scenario?
18,
How about this
20 months.
scenario?
He didn't
Say
showed
you
you
got
enough that he can if in that time of being a prospect by 18, 20 months, usually he
So
didn't
I'm
show
asking
you enough
y'all,
that
in
he is
y'all eyes,
no
a
longer
prospect
a
already have to be
prospect
looked
or
at.
a good dog. He is a good game, fast lane dog, and then he takes the next step.
But this is what I'm asking. In y'all eyes, do a prospect already have to be seen and looked at? Already have shown something?
No,
Goddamn right.
that's my
Me over
preference.
here,
I
this
don't think
can't.
so.
I
That's
can't.
The
my
I can't
prospect
do
can
that,
preference.
be
man.
untouched.
You tripping? You
I believe
tripping?
the
You
All right,
tripping?
prospect can be
That means
untouched.
that
check the
means you
scenario
ain't even
out.
pick your guards
Let me
out
ask
of the litter.
let me ask y'all
That
this.
means
Let me
you
ask
ain't
y'all
even
this.
picking to pick out of the litter.
Say
You tripping?
let me ask y'all this. say you got a 10-month-old pup on the chain, right? And he get off that fucking chain and he go kill one of your best fucking dogs. Is there a prospect? Is there a prospect? He ain't been touched nothing. Is there a prospect now?
He ain't a prospect. God damn it, I'm keeping him. He ain't on prospect. He ain't going no motherfucking well. He the
But
one
y'all
that I'm
just
gonna
said
do
he got
something
to
with.
show you he
If you go
wanted.
out the
And he
damn
wanted
You
chain
just
at 10 months and kill something, motherfucker, you a little bit more than a prospect than me. You kill one of my
Yeah.
top dogs in damn 10 months.
Yeah,
You're a prodigy, goddamn it. You're a prodigy. You ain't
listen,
a prospect.
what y'all bypassing is that it's a whole process of observation and going on for him to get to the point of being a prospect. The cold dog never gets a chance. Why? Because he ain't showing you what it takes to take the next step. But there are certain dogs who do take the next step, and they never get out the process of being a
some dogs turn
prospect.
on
And
late.
there are dogs who show you what it takes to be or who turn into a prospect, and then they do go on to be good dogs. So you still got to get through the process. There's a process to being a prospect, and then there's a process to getting out of the prospect status. You dig what I'm talking about? You got to be on your yard, man.
well, Cosmo, what's your process then? What's your process then?
You
What's your
gotta,
time frame and what's your process? Just give us an outlook. Just give us an outline.
Wing. The thing with me is I got to see it to believe it. I got to see it. I could think it's there, Wing. All I know, it should be there, right? We didn't put it together. The mama, the daddy was acting right. You dig what I'm talking about? Even the brothers and sisters was acting right. But this motherfucker ain't seen it. So what he got to do? He got to show me. And then when I get there, when we get to that point, if he shows me that he acting right, well then he can get out that prospect status.
So I'm just saying, okay, so in y'all eyes, a prospect has to be touched.
No, to get out of the prospect stage.
No, I'm talking to Wee Moon. It said prospect have to be done been touched before and know
A
what's going on to be a
prospect,
prospect.
to me in my camp, the way I learned, a prospect just made it to the stage of being a prospect. That's a stage. It's not
Right.
you can't you have to acquire that stage.
Yes.
So
I
I can't
what the
just give
definition
a
say?
puppy or a young dog a title and it hasn't acquired that. It has to earn that position.
It say
Right.
So
the possibility or likelihood of some future events occurring.
Right.
The possibility means you don't know yet. The
Right.
possibility
so
or
like I said, then you're giving every puppy a chance. Fuck all that.
likelihood mean that likelihood mean that okay, I've seen the mama, the daddy, the grandma, and the granddad. I know all them don't go. The likelihood that he'll go is very high. That's the likelihood. But I still haven't
Possibility
seen
just
it yet.
means it's time to test. It's time to take the test.
The possibility mean I don't know yet.
That's what
It's what the
possibility
possibility
mean to
means.
me.
It's a possible. It's possible, but I don't know yet.
Yes.
So how you gonna know?
The future
How you
mean
find out?
the future mean in the future.
Gotta see.
The future mean not right now, not present. The future events occurring.
Okay,
Okay, so
So a
listen.
prospect can't be something that haven't been taken.
so now that that's out the way, right? Once you select your prospect who has
Right.
the potential that you're talking about, then what?
You gotta look at it. You gotta test it.
That's what we saying.
That's right.
So he could be
But what
potentially a
y'all saying?
prospect, but he's not officially a prospect until he show you some shit, bro. You gotta
No, he's a prospect before he show
Hey,
you.
yes, he is, brother.
It say future events, not right now, not present.
Wait.
It say likelihood.
Let me ask y'all a question.
And let's
Hold on,
look
let me
at
ask
number
y'all a
two
question.
just
Is
for
y'all
1
saying,
second, though.
let me ask y'all a question. Is y'all saying that just because it's a dog, it's a prospect, or are y'all
No,
saying,
no,
hold on, or
No,
are you
I'm
saying,
saying that if
hold
I
on,
make you a
absolutely not.
prospect, you gotta show me why
hold
you
on,
should stay there, bro.
This
Right.
is prospect.
hold on, wait a minute, let me just get it out. Let me get it out and then answer the question. Are you saying that just because it's a dog and it's on your yard, he a prospect, or are you saying that even that dog got to show you something to even become a prospect?
You got to show me something to stay the prospect.
This your yard. This your yard. I got the mama, the daddy, the grandma, the granddad. I done seen everybody. I done seen everything. I done bred these dogs. And I'm looking at this dog here. I see the same shit I seen in the grandma and the granddaddy. It's a possibility or likelihood of future events occurring that he'll be like the mama or the granddaddy.
And then when he don't show you nothing, is he gonna stay a prospect?
That's exactly what I just described.
Gotta be regarded.
The
likelihood
as likely something occurring in the future.
Yeah, I can't. So you saying the potential comes in just the genetic possibility,
right?
Exactly.
I know it's getting there. We gotta, but listen. No. Regarded, a person regarded as likely to succeed. So that's like if you had a dog and you raised him up, he's 17 months. You might not look at your dogs till they 2.5, but if he's 17 months and you've been keeping his ass, and you're like, man, that's gonna be a bad motherfucker. He's gonna be a bad motherfucker right there. Yeah. He don't have to touch nothing. He's
that make him a prospect, but does that keep him a prospect?
And then look at on the flip side. It said, or as a potential customer client. That's nobody that has spent no money with you. You see what I'm saying?
So a prospect is a cold dog.
No, man.
No, he's not cold.
No. We ain't look at him yet. How we know if he's cold or hot?
A future event of likelihood that mean the possibility, maybe we don't know yet. Now a contender is something else. A contender is something that
we likely gonna have a match dog out of this dog. We don't know.
A dog that never showed any aggression.
I don't know.
He don't show.
Look, you likely to have a piece of shit if you don't look at it.
I think prospect varies in what type of show you going to, bro.
Man, yeah.
I think prospect also has to deal with what kind of program you're running. Because if I got a dog that's supposed to be running up a wall,
oh yes, sir.
We all want to look at it. We all want to look at them and see. But if you on your yard and you don't see this shit over and over again, you can almost tell that, okay, this motherfucker here, he gonna go.
How you say that?
Okay, hold on. Check this out. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. Check this out. Check this out. Hold on. If you got a treadmill, say you got a mill, right? And you put the dog on the mill at 6 months and he don't run, is he still a prospect?
If he don't run on the mill at 6 months,
I'm gonna go buy a mountain bike.
He might work out another way. He's 6 months old.
No. If you want your dog to run on a meal, okay, and at 6 months he won't run, he won't work. Is he still a prospect?
Man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
That's you asked me. You did not ask me if you prospect. You asked me whether he gonna work or not. It's some motherfucker.
I'm giving you your prospect title, okay? You guys want that prospect title on a dog that doesn't have to show you something. So
I want to know what makes
I'm not calling no 6 month old no prospect.
Everything should be earned in a yard. Everything should be earned in a yard.
You're not calling no 6 month old dog a prospect. You're not calling no 6 month old dog a prospect. We talking about 18 months.
So if he don't, okay, same shit then. At 18 months, if that motherfucker don't run on the mill, he won't work himself. He won't establish a program for himself. Is he still a prospect?
No, he is not a prospect.
When does this shit end? How much time you got to look at a prospect? It's almost like you're saying a dog is a prospect his whole life.
Listen, man. One thing about it. At 18 months, that bitch still a puppy. If you think about
once you make a prospect, this is my question. So once you make him a prospect, what makes him stay a prospect?
You being a good dog. And you not ever looking at him until he's fucking old as shit. You know what I'm saying?
What are we prospecting for? Confirmation shows, wall climbing.
That's what.
Like, I think that's where the varies.
When I made my statement and I said that it was what it was, I was referring to back when they was actually rolling these dogs. Big ass kennels, that the most successful motherfuckers in the game that sold prospects, and you could actually get on your rotary phone and call them motherfuckers and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they said a prospect was too. It's not just changing just because we feel it should be a certain way.
Right.
You feel me?
Listen, everybody run their program a certain way, and everybody got their
that's all it is.
their own thing.
That's
But
all
right
it
here,
is.
when the thing say dictionary, when they start off and say the possibility means you don't know. It's possible. When they say in the future, that mean not right now. That mean later on
But what
down
do
the
you do
line.
when you find out he ain't?
You know what you do with him when you find out he ain't. Yeah, you know what the hell you do with him. But that don't mean in the beginning. See, this is what I'm trying to get at. Because your prospect doesn't mean that he turned out good.
No.
Right.
See, you can be a
it's just
prospect
a
and still turn out
likelihood
terrible,
of some
bad as
future
hell,
event
and look like
occurring.
trash and everything else. But that don't mean that
Put
you
that
wasn't a
motherfucker in
prospect.
purgatory.
Okay, so let me ask this. So it's your belief.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Prospect don't mean good. See, you can't get it twisted.
Right.
Prospect don't mean that he was a good dog. It just meant that he was a prospect.
Right.
You
That
don't
big
know.
can stand on all fours as soon as he get in there and
You
jump the
don't
ball.
know. A prospect is unknown. You don't know.
Exactly. It's unknown, bro. It's unknown. That's why they tell you as a prospect, you taking a chance on it. The motherfucker ain't selling you a contender. Now, motherfucker selling you a contender, he know what's going on. He know what to do. He get in here. He know
You're
what's going
not
on.
taking a
Everything.
chance on a prospect. Come on now, y'all, stop it. You're not taking a
When the
chance.
shit is proven, and Patrick call you and say, "I got a prospect. I ain't look at him yet. You want to come get him for 1,000? You ain't gonna come get him." The mom and daddy worked out. The grandma and grandpa, they all him. Like, why wouldn't you? I'm just saying, historically speaking.
Historically speaking, if you're going to get a prospect, that means you have a chance.
Everything has a chance until they show you that they don't.
I get what we ain't saying though, but when they
That was a true statement, my boy.
dudes that was really out here dogging was getting rid of their dogs, and they told you they had a prospect. Not only did they have an idea that it would be good, they usually probably looked at it. It showed some good signs, and then they just be, it's just.
I mean, as far as historical purposes, a prospect is a possible match dog. So how can you know it's a match dog if you're not in the system?
That's a match ready dog, buddy. That's a match ready dog. That's a dog that has been pulled out. That's when he's ready for
what was it? But what was it before that though?
But hold on,
we can't just change it just because.
That's a contender. That's a contender. He ready to go. He ready for you to buy his hand.
If you ready to go, you ain't no. If it's already ready to go, that ain't no prospect.
Right.
That's a contender.
That's a contender. A prospect is something that you looked at that's possibly might need a little more time.
Right.
But a prospect is not something that's already ready to go.
Right.
Exactly. Well, and the prospect can be something that's never been touched, and still a prospect. Because I know my yard. I done seen this shit. I done seen the grandmother. I done seen the mommy and daddy. I know this dog here. He gonna be a good prospect. I see the way he acting. He already athletic at 4-5 months. The way that he acting, the way that he chewing, the way that he doing. I seen this. This dog here is a prospect in my eyes. Because it's my yard. I know. I done seen it.
Okay, so now all of a sudden again, now 4 months. Here we go. See, now in 4 months we got a prospect. That's craziness. That's why I said
I'm seeing everything I saw from the mama and the granddaddy in 4 months.
We got to work harder. We got to work harder, y'all.
From the grandparents and the mom and dad, I'm seeing he acting the same way. That's what I'm saying.
He's still not a prospect though. He's a little puppy.
It's in the future.
Buck,
it's possible.
Buck.
It's unknown. Buck. We don't know yet. It's possible. It's in the future.
If you're not over a year old, I don't think you can be a prospect at all.
We talking about 18 months. We talking about 18 months as a prospect.
I like that. I like that, Buck. Yeah, you got that.
I'm saying years old, bro. I'm not talking about he's showing me a prospect in 4 months. I'm talking about he's showing me the same signs that the parents showed me when they was 4 months and they already proven to be what they are. He not
And I'm
showing me his
still let him be a
prospect.
puppy. And
He's
I'm
showing me his
still
mom
let him
and
be a
daddy
puppy.
and
let's
grandparents
say
at 2, 3, and 4 months. They
let's
acting the
say,
same way. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying
And
you're a
I'm a
prospect at 4 months.
hey,
No,
let's say
18 months.
hypothetically at 6 months, your dog catch a rabbit or a beaver or whatever and kill it. You dig what I'm talking about? Does that make him a prospect?
no.
Hell no.
No,
Fuck
That make him
no.
prey driven.
Fuck no.
he just got
That
a
make
good
him
prey
prey
drive.
driven.
Don't make him
No,
a
I
prospect.
tell you, them motherfuckers could be all of that at 5 months and shit, and be shit at 2.5.
And staying in the
That's
corner at
Yeah.
2.5.
It ain't a
That's right, Buck
motherfucking thing,
City.
bro. So we can't just go off of when they're young, man. They be wired up sometimes different, man.
But
I
I'm
done seen
saying,
dogs
like,
that
if you raise your
you had
family of
to.
dogs and you seen all these motherfuckers go at this certain time, you seen the way that these dogs act at young puppies all the way through. I'm talking about the grandma and the granddaddy, and these next little are showing these same signs and shit coming up. By the time they 17, 18 months, in your mind, you're gonna say this right here is a prospect. This is even if I'm finna touch him 6 months later. I'm finna touch him. I'm finna touch him 6 months later. But at
Okay,
18 months,
all right,
I can see
okay,
in my eyes that he's a prospect,
okay, all right.
even though I
That
haven't touched him yet.
once you see in that next 6 months, though, once you see in that what you see in that next 6 months, that's gonna either remove him from it or take him out the prospect to the
And
box
guess what? And guess
dog.
what? And guess what? And when I touch him 6 months later, he might stand in the corner.
Right.
Okay, he ain't a prospect no more. Okay, he was a prospect,
That's
but
what
now
we saying. That's
he
what
going
we
to another. He going somewhere else.
saying.
Yeah.
That's what we
But
saying.
that still don't make me that
That's
he
what
wasn't
I'm
a
saying.
prospect. A prospect don't mean good.
He
A
didn't
prospect
make it
don't
to
mean
be a
good. A prospect means
prospect.
the possibility.
He didn't make
It
it.
don't mean good. It means a possibility. That's what a prospect means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
It's
got
just
you got
our
to go at
definition.
least you got to go
Crazy
through at least
stuff
2
right
stages before you become a prospect.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
But but but
But
but,
I
but see,
feel I
but see, but
feel
I hear what
I
y'all
feel when a
saying.
lot
Like
of
We're
that's
doing.
boys
y'all camp. That's
What
y'all
we're
camp.
doing, we're
But
trying to
that's not the
rewrite the
definition.
dictionary and shit, bro.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We're
Like
trying
that's
to
y'all camp.
rewrite the dictionary,
But
bro.
that's
This
not the
is a
definition
crazy
of a
word.
prospect.
The
You
definition,
know,
the definition
The
of a word
definition
can't give
is
you the
right there in your
experience.
face,
It
bro.
can't.
And
It
we're
can't
sitting
give you
here
the experience,
arguing.
though.
Hey,
it
this a
still
Just
good
don't
like
mean
look up
somebody
nothing.
though.
It
said,
still don't mean
no.
what it
Hey,
is.
that
say it
is
again,
crazy
Waymo. Say it
work,
again,
bro.
Waymo.
Hey, the
Hey, Buck,
definition's
this a
right
good cook
there,
up,
and we're
bro.
sitting here arguing the shit, bro.
Yeah, but the definition can't
The
give you the
definition is the
experience.
definition. No, the definition is definition because the prospect can mean anything else. It could be it don't have to got to do with a dog to be a prospect. It could be prospect could be something else. It means something else for something else. But for dogs, everybody can do their yard the way they do their yard. But for the
Yeah.
definition of what the word means, it means a possibility or likelihood.
Or a
Likelihood don't
candidate.
mean yes that
Of
he
That
some
good.
that means
future
He
that
gonna
means
go.
event.
a fantasy. Fantasy.
No,
That's what
of
that
some
is.
future event, not a dog that's
Future.
been fucking rolled
Present.
already.
Exactly.
That event
Yeah.
already happened. You feel me? And most dogs back in the day, people wasn't trying to buy shit that people already put their eyes on, brother. I mean, I understand if a lot of people wasn't around in them days, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you buy something that has already been looked at, let's say he got his back end, scars on his back end or some shit, you call that motherfucker like, hey man, what's going on, man? This motherfucker look like he been looked at. Because the likelihood, since we're talking about likelihood and shit,
That he wasn't no good.
That dog not being
He was shit.
that ace, because they ain't gonna say you no fucking ace like that, bro.
Shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If that
Especially if they
motherfucker
got
that
a big
good, they
ass
won't sell
yard
him.
and they use their dogs for bread and meat. We talking about the
Yeah, but
70s,
if
80s, we're
yeah,
going
but
back
if
in
you get a
time.
dog, you're supposed to be the dog man to put the dog together. The campaign don't start with who you got him from. The campaign start from what you gonna do with him in your nutrition system and your program.
You're
That's
gonna
what's supposed to
try his
pop.
ass out, and if he works out, you're gonna continue to school him. And if he doesn't, it's on to the next. That's what you're gonna do.
Right. But what Buck was saying was back in the day, if you got a dog that was a prospect and you took him home, because you usually pick him up at night, whatever, you take him home, you get him in the daylight to go feed him that next day, you see he got scars and shit on him.
That nigga been looked at.
He been looked at, but why would you give him? Why would you sell him to me as a prospect and even look at something in that situation?
Because you ain't
Well,
sure.
that depend
He
on the
just
dog
showed
man
good
yard though.
signs. He just showed good signs, but you ain't sure.
No. That's not what we saying. Not what
That's
he's
what. That's the.
Yeah,
Listen, if you
but this is what I'm saying though. If the
moral
motherfucker looked
dog
at the
man,
dog,
if
the
you're a
motherfucker
moral
looked at the
dog man,
dog.
and you gonna always put your best foot forward, you're never gonna sell somebody no BS dog.
That's true. That's true.
But this the question here though. If a motherfucker looked at the dog and the dog is good, why the hell he gonna sell him to you for as a prospect? And he
Because
know he got a good
you a
dog
hell
right
of a
here.
dog man. Because you lot boy. What you mean? Why would not sell it to you?
Yeah,
Nah, he gonna
he a
campaign his
breeder. You
own
a
shit.
hunter.
Bro,
That's why I
He
say
a
No,
he
you
breeder.
a
You a
it
prospect.
could
hunter.
be
Nah.
probably
you a hunter.
5% a
That's why a
dog man would
prospect
do
is the
that, bro.
future, the possibility, a likelihood, man. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, you
A
Of
don't.
real
course,
That
dog
don't
man will
mean
run
you
through
can't be your
20
best
dogs in a
dog.
week.
That don't mean
in our
that don't
yard, a
mean
Run
you
through
motherfucker
can't
gonna
about
be
look
your
at
20,
best
everything.
dog.
25 dogs in a week.
A motherfucker gonna look at everything in our yard. A motherfucker gonna look at everything, but the definition of the word is future or likelihood. Likelihood mean we don't know. Likelihood mean maybe, maybe not.
And the
Yeah, but
That's
fact
what I'm
is
but
that
saying.
this is how
That's what I
hundreds of
mean.
kennels been ran
it's
for decades, bruh.
yeah.
This is
That's
how they've
why I
been
say
ran.
a
This is
prospect
their
can be
policies,
unkept.
dog.
The
They
reason
were
he
selling
know
shit
that
before
it's a
we
good
tried to sell
prospect.
shit, bro.
Oh
Man,
That
this is
shit,
a
shit
come
great
been
on, man.
done.
conversation. I got to get back to it. Y'all keep cooking. Buck City for the win. One.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't give a fuck if you was getting some shit off of Tab shit back in the day. Southern Kennel, they was the biggest. They like had the torch, literally.
That's
So,
back.
and they had a website and they had at least like
That's
20 young prospects on that page. You
back in
know,
the days when that motherfucker AOL Southern Kennels, you ain't lying.
exactly, brother. And it was the same shit, bro.
Go ahead and go eat.
I used to be a lot.
Come on, Purple.
Take you 6 minutes.
You got some people that all they sell is prospects.
You said what?
Yeah.
I think you got certain camps, all they sell is prospects.
Because they want their name to be, you know what I mean, to carry on. You dig what I'm saying? To some people that matter. You know what I mean? That you ain't got no smut on your name, that you do got good dogs, you know what I mean? You known for giving out good hogs. Good hog dogs. You dig what I'm saying? So, that matters to some people.
Man, that matters to me. Motherfucking right.
So yeah, I'm not just because I got a rhyme dog and a POR champion on the bottom. You dig what I'm saying? Just because I'm breeding them, I'm not selling them because they, just offer some stuff, some great stuff.
They're actually performing.
That's 101 though.
That's it.
101 though. You
That's
gonna buy a dog, you want him to be untouched, bro. You buying a grown dog, bro. Period. That's 101. Now we could get on this new shit, but the history ain't gonna change. What it was back in the day, bro. You hear millions of stories, bro. You know what I'm saying? And disastrous shit. You get motherfuckers get the dog, they do all of this shit, find out the dog done quit and shit on somebody else's yard, all this bullshit, snaky, slimy shit that's going on.
Yeah.
That you can prevent, when we talk about untouched shit, your likelihood is better. 9 times out of 10, he knows he been keeping them that long, so he gotta like them. You don't just you said there's some dudes that only sell prospects, but that's an anomaly though. That's an anomaly, especially back in the day. We can't name 5 kennels that did that. You feel me? Versus hundreds of kennels that sold prospects, untouched prospects. That's the thing. You feel me?
So prospect to you just deals with age.
Yeah, if he's an older dog, let's say he's let's just say like 15 months old or over, you know, to maybe like 3 years old, he's untouched, you know, he's ready for schooling. You know, you can start putting some eyes on him. Back if we're talking about the back in the day terms, you know.
Yeah.
We're talking about the back in the day terms, you know, he's ready for you to put your eyes on him. Like, yeah, it's up to you now, you know, but the likelihood of some event happening, like the definition says, that means that the likelihood of him engaging when you look at him, it's a likelihood. Now, whatever his style is and all this shit, or if he gonna last long and all that, that's later, bro. That's called schooling. You know what I'm saying? But you are a prospect for schooling, meaning he's acting good. You know, you walk something up to him. You know, he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They be wanting shit. You know what your bloodline does. You got a high percentage of dogs working out on your shit. So I could be like, yeah, you know, I think this is gonna be a good prospect.
Man, y'all ain't smoking none of these gelato 41s today.
That makes sense.
Ran their program like that.
That makes sense,
I'm
Buck.
about to mix this permanent marker with these gelato 41s, and I'm going to the moon. Wake and bake, niggas. Wake and bake, niggas.
Hey, raw runts, man. Raw runts, man.
That's right.
But do y'all really feel you can add an age category to a prospect, seeing how a lot of the older dogs that are stamped in history, a lot of them ain't go out till 3-4 years old.
I believe in letting the dog be a pup.
Yeah, they probably wasn't a prospect either. You feel me?
But that's what I'm saying.
Think about prospects at like 1 year old, 2 years old.
Certain people putting age on a prospect, but you got certain dogs who didn't retire until the age 7 or 8 that didn't officially go out until 3-4 years old.
Right.
So now to us they might not have been a prospect, but to the person
on the yard. On the old head man yard, he could have been showing something since he was 14 months old, but he ain't bring him out until he was 2.5, 3.
Like
exactly.
let's say that I had a yard, I walked somebody up to him. I have 5 males over there, and I walked up to them. They was all 18 months, and one of them was standoffish. You know, he just didn't say nothing. He just backed up when I came with that hot ass dog. But 2 of them was at the end of the chain. And then the other 2, they just ran in their motherfucking doghouse, right? So the ones that didn't act right, they not prospects, bro. That's the fine line that we're missing, right? It's the likelihood of some future event occurring, and the likelihood
you know
of
what I
those
mean?
That future event is somebody getting on the soft part of your ass.
But you know what Buck said, the likelihood of future events occurring mean what? It hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
That's all it means. It hasn't happened
future.
Yet. This is
maybe right there.
Maybe we got a likelihood, maybe the possibility, maybe, but we don't know yet.
Oh man.
We can't change.
I'm just saying that's the definition of the word. That's the definition of the word. Now, of course, in our yard,
until you in a real match, it's all just possibility, even in a row. You dig what I'm talking about? Because what I've learned is I learned that a lot of people be having stuff that's on their yard that they don't believe is that good. That's better than the competition that they going to. So you know what I mean? Your dog be having rougher practices than they be having matches sometimes. You get what I'm saying? So it all depends. The whole future event that you having is a real race. You dig what I'm talking about? The only thing is the potential, the likelihood for that happening really happens after you come up out of the prospect mode.
Right.
But you dig what I'm saying? But you got to go through that part too.
I'll get some water.
But that prospect time is when you got an expectation or it's a likelihood
Look
or
at the verb.
there's a great
verb and break it down.
possibility.
Search for mineral deposits in a place, especially by means of experimental drilling or excavation. Okay, so
paying for gold.
That doesn't mean that you struck gold now.
It don't.
That means you're looking for it.
You're just in a place.
You gotta go pay it for it, man. You gotta see if it's in there.
Right. So he's a prospect for what we would call schooling. That's what a prospect is, fellas.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, maybe y'all been in this shit way longer than me. You know, you ain't talked to hella dog, man. I talked to a lot of them. You know, I was a student for fucking decades. You feel me? Talking to all kind of dog, man, even to this day, you know, and they'll tell you that's what it was, man. They'll tell you, they'll school you up. A real dog, man, if he really gave you some real shit, he'll tell you to get a puppy or get something that's untouched if you're buying a grown dog. And most of the time, you wouldn't even want to buy grown dogs, bro. I'm telling you, because it's a nightmare. It's a motherfucking nightmare because you can't trust.
You always want to raise your shit yourself, man. Because you'll never trust that motherfucker the way you'll trust your shit if you raise it from a puppy.
Fact.
No matter what, you'll never trust that motherfucker the way you trust your shit if you raise it from a puppy, bro.
Fuck it.
But I want to hear some more, you know, some pushback. If there's some more pushback, but I think we
Well, first of all, we got to remember what he a prospect for. He a prospect for schooling.
Right. That's what I said.
You know what I mean? So that don't mean he gonna graduate.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That don't mean he gonna graduate, but that.
And then if he's match ready, that means he's been schooled. Correct.
Right.
He's been schooled. If we're talking about the 60s and 70s, and match ready would be this motherfucker has been schooled out.
Yeah.
We done rolled him at a couple different weights. I put a back end specialist on him. I probably put a good wrestler on him. I probably threw a good head dog on him. 60s and 70s.
It's so good.
And he's
let's take it back a little bit. Let's go to the 40s.
He looks good.
He said, let's go to the 40s.
That would what I would
to the
call,
40.
You know, schooled out.
Yeah. And that's what you would call match ready, correct?
So the guy
and you have anonymous. You know what I'm saying? Just like goddamn Mr. LA Dream Team took out the bitch Dynasty in goddamn 9 months. You know what I'm saying? Shit, by the time she was 18 months, she was finna get to go for champion. But you have anonymous. Some start early, some don't start it because they start early. That don't mean you gotta show them early. Some motherfuckers be turned on, bitch, from the damn time they 4-5 months on, be ready to do something. Don't mean you do nothing with them.
Because I was about to say, don't act like these niggas wasn't bringing these goddamn puppies out here and they was still whooping ass. They was just bad.
Oh yeah. Do you have anonymous?
13, 14, 15
normally, you want your dog to be grown. You want your dog to be grown, even if it is showing signs of this and that. That don't mean it's mature. They just mean this motherfucker ready to do something.
That's right.
Sometimes bitches be too big.
Yeah, I noticed a hell of difference in my pup between his 10 and his 14-month-old phase. I noticed a hell of a difference.
Sit down. Y'all stop all that.
Yeah, man.
This motherfucker got a lot.
I like these little topics though. I gotta bring these up. Everybody chime in. You know, we get it out there.
Oh yeah, but one thing about it, when somebody get in their own yard, they gonna do what they think best anyway. They ain't going by no dictionary. They gonna go by what they learned and what they know.
But some people just heard what their homie told them though. Some dudes really never knew the shit though, how it was though.
Yeah.
If their homie told them and shit, like they never really called no dog man acquiring, like how it was before social media.
Hey,
know,
Buck,
like
I'm gonna just
most
go out
That
dudes.
make
there.
I
you the
mean,
bud saw, nigga. The bud saw.
Hey, I'm gonna go out there and just say this, Buck. I'm gonna say 90% of the niggas that be talking never shake the dog.
yeah, bet
Yeah.
90%.
the
Yep.
landscape. Hopefully, it's more than that because
Stop
a
that.
motherfucker definitely shouldn't be trying to shape them for that matter for the 60s and 70s. But yeah, shape them up for a dog show. They still don't
Yeah,
do
damn
that
right.
enough.
For confirmation. Save them up for
Yeah, they
confirmation.
still don't do that enough, man. But some
But, but,
people
but
take it serious.
we ain't shaping enough for battle no more. Don't y'all get it twisted.
Yeah, that shit dead.
Everything we talking about is the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
That shit dead.
Nothing here we talking about is present. Everything we talking about is 30, 40 years ago, maybe 50.
Yeah, and we don't condone hurting
Yeah.
kids.
Nobody does any dog fighting illegal activities. That shit's played out, bro.
Yeah, that shit
We
dead.
in it for the confirmation shows. We in it to keep the breed going longer and stronger, man. We in it for the blood, man. You know.
Oh God,
Some of us, we just want to talk about it. We don't want to do it. We just want to have a safe place we could just chop it up.
this bitch hit me back.
Yeah, that motherfucker hit you all inside your head. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, punk ass nigga. Hey, that's a nice looking little puppy there, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Back here.
That motherfucker, that look good, that boy.
Thank you, man.
Got a little fat butt, man. How old is they? About what? About 6 weeks, 7 weeks?
Man, this motherfucker's 2 weeks old, man.
God damn.
They just opened their eyes.
He a little long joker there too.
15, he 15 inches and shit, I keep my little records, man.
Yeah, what's that right there? Some good
Red Boy Jocko Bulio tombstone on top of some boils honey. That hot honey boils butter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Little touch of that bolio with that boils ain't gonna never hurt nothing.
Yeah, right. He's 16 inches, man. 2 weeks old.
Yeah, I was saying he a little long joker, man.
Yeah. Motherfucker is what?
Oh, that nigga Stretch Armstrong, he laid all the way out too. Look at him.
3 pounds 7 ounces already, man.
Man, that's Stretch. That's Stretch Armstrong, nigga.
Man, come on, man.
They all pretty even.
Hey, fuck, I'm at you too, bro. I'm at you. You know what I mean? On that, you did what I'm talking about. We'll definitely put that together. That's the sauce. And then you showed me some other shit yesterday with that double Osiris on the bottom. That I didn't even know existed. So you know what I mean? I'm looking at some other shit. Now I'm thinking on some other shit. I might as well just go straight Darth Vader, nigga, and just you did what I'm talking about, Iceman Osiris it up. Doing some Darth Vader shit, just you did what I'm talking about, just do whatever to your dog. Just go ham on your dog. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah. He put a whole new little, you know what I mean? That's sauce. You know what I mean? And the dope part is I can still tap back in the whole other way, fucking with Jinx. Man, listen, man. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be a problem, a real problem in about 4 years. About 4 years. I'm gonna be an issue because I know this shit about to work. We ain't immune. We gonna have some motherfuckers, dog. You one of these motherfuckers too. We ain't seen it first. I ain't gonna even lie. We ain't seen it first. He seen the sauce. The sauce was working. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out my nigga Buck City, man. Cracking. Cracking.
Yes, sir.
The shit be working, bro. The shit be working, bro.
Think about it, man. Nigga in it to win it. And you know what I'm saying? I don't like second place. I got some shit cooking up like motherfucking gumbo in Louisiana on a Saturday morning.
Mhm.
Hey, Borderland backstage trying to come up.
Hey, Borderland in the Lake Show.
Hey, yo, Buck.
Buck done took a break. You probably gonna get a sandwich or something.
They eat Funyuns.
Y'all done raised, y'all
Nigga
done
went and got a
raised
sandwich.
blood pressure up around that motherfucker.
So he had to make that smoothie, man.
Mm-hmm.
Said he over there
That's
eating
what
Funyuns. The queso cheese jams.
Wait a minute, that's kind of fat boy shit right there. I never thought of that.
Man, Funyuns dropping some flavors now, nigga.
With the queso dip?
No, they come like that. Queso cheese jams.
No, like
damn.
dip though.
Oh,
But
you
the
talking about
dip
like with some dip? Oh no, man. You know you gotta get
that might
that.
work, bro. That might work. That might be some
You know you gotta get that sour cream and that onion dip.
with on the Funyun.
Man, I put that onion dip on there, anything, bro.
Ooh.
See what it is? When I was a kid, I ain't fuck with shit like that. And then I became an adult, and I just tried it one day. I was like, bro, I've been missing some shit all my life.
Yeah.
I ain't
That's how I
looked
be.
back.
It's certain shit I ain't eat when I was a kid that I eat now when I
Like
was adult. So I should have been eating this shit.
green beans and shit. I fucked them shits up. Now you couldn't make. I mean, you know how many times I had to sit at the table. So
It was
you gonna sit
fire.
there till you finish your green.
You know how that shit go. You gonna stay here all night at the table till this
I used
food
to
room.
hate onions. I used to hate
Nigga
onions.
falling
I
asleep
love
at the
onions.
table.
Oh
I
yeah,
used
I
to hate
love onions.
love peppers now. You know what I mean? That shit's is fire, bro.
Pepper, you talking about bell peppers and all that?
Bell peppers, green
I don't
peppers.
fuck with that.
I
I
didn't
still
used to
don't fuck
like
with
that
that.
shit.
Boy, you crazy. Get you a good
I
I
cheesesteak
still
didn't
with
don't
that
fuck
like
shit.
with it.
I fuck with them now though.
Hey, every time, hey, Cosmo, every time I bake something, chicken, something, that Holy Trinity got to go in there, bro.
go. We don't be knowing till we know. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was a good cook up. That was a good topic.
Yeah.
I guess it's just when you feel like that motherfucker ready.
Boy, it's so goddamn humid out here in Florida, man. Yes, sir. I'm out here with the motherfucking hound. Yes,
What
sir.
part of
But what's
Florida
going
you in?
on, man? Huh?
What part of Florida you in?
I'm on the East Coast, Treasure Coast.
How far that from Key West?
Shit. I'm about 5 hours, probably.
About 5 hours. I'm gonna hit you on the back street. I'm gonna hit you on the back street.
Okay. Who that is? West Kennels?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, boy, what the hell you doing waiting in Key West, man?
Man, I'm everywhere, man. But I ain't out there. But I got something for you to see out there though.
Okay. It's a bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit you on the back street.
Well, hit me. I'm gonna put my number in the back street.
All right, bet.
Yo, Whip.
You.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
If do you think if you got an eye and you got a lot of experience with your bloodline, particular bloodline that you running or whatever, Do you think it's possible to be able to spot or tell the up and coming prospect before he or she is a true prospect?
Yeah, only because
If it's your yard.
only
If it's your yard.
only because it's well. See, I don't know if it was a lot of boys that said that earlier, but I was going to say it's a lot of people who buy dogs and don't know the family background and say they got a prospect versus the people who own the mama, the daddy, the grandparents, and saying they got prospects. Me, anything that I know that's gonna make that prospect list. I if I don't keep them all, because I always at least keep half of my litters. Anything I know that's gonna probably turn out first, I always put those in different hands. The ones that shy and all that, I always keep those because they might take longer to turn on. That's not always the case though. But anything I know for sure going to be a potential prospect, I try to get those in different hands. That way 5, 10, 15 years down the road, I ain't really got to say nothing. You can go talk to 5, 10 different camps about it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Hey,
So it ain't no argument.
I think you said something key then. We might need to start calling them that PT, potential prospect. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great definitive
That's
title.
exactly that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
You can
it
have a
has to
concept
be
without
like
knowing.
that because I mean it has to be like that because like I said, what a lot of boys said earlier, I agree with it because if you have the mom and daddy or the grandparents, you have a higher IQ knowledge on if the ones on the ground going to be a prospects or not versus you going to buy a dog from Maul, Kent, or Tom and automatically saying it's going to be a prospect when you really don't know the mama or the well, the grandparents might be champions, okay, but as far as the daddy and mama that you ain't see or they ain't do nothing, you still, if you ain't look at that dog in certain ways, you can't be calling it a prospect. But it's too many variables around it if you don't know the family of dogs.
Oh well, I'm gonna go deeper on you, Mr. Wolf, if you don't mind, sir. What
Yeah,
about the
go ahead.
guy? What about the guy who don't know the mother or the grandparents, but he's familiar with the line and he's so experienced with dogs. He done had so many dogs that he can, he know what he looking at. He know what a potential prospect post the mannerism of it. What how you know what I'm saying? What you got to
Well,
say about that?
you got that go back to what I said about having the right IQ about the dogs. If you dealt with the family already, but not the mother and father, you already know what to look for versus homeboy down the block from you that never dealt with game dogs. He reading about it, he listening to you online, but he never witnessed it one on one. So for him to say he got a prospect, depending on who he tell that to, is going to be a lot of questions because he's not. For one, he don't got the mom and daddy, he don't got the grandparents, and number two, he don't know, he don't have experience with that family of dogs. So that's why I say it's too many variables. If you have experience with the family of dogs, then technically you have a right to say that if you had some good ones. But if you never had experience with those dogs, you don't own the mama, granddaddy, the great grandparents, like some of my dogs, then how do you know that's going to be a prospect? Unless you did things for him to earn the name prospect.
I agree.
Because again, it's a lot of people buying dogs from big name breeders and claiming they got prospects, but they really don't. So it all depends on the camp, and it depends on the person and the dog. But
Yeah, a lot of people say prospects just because of how the dog is bred, the pedigree, and they saying they got a prospect. So it's
So can Will's Kennels go buy a dog from Buck City, and no, well, no, he don't even he going to Buck City for a cross. You know what I'm saying? He got knowledge. You have knowledge on the line, but you don't really know about the particular dog that you're getting, right? And can
yeah,
you
because
get?
remember,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
And with your high IQ and your hands-on experience with the dogs, could you be able to tell once you acquire this pup that I may have just gotten? Well, if the pup was maybe all the way up to my standard, just say if going on 100, the pup was a 75. But with my IQ and my eye and everything I know and I look, I think I might have just got myself acquired a PP. You feel what I'm saying? Is that possible?
Hey, Breezy, go ahead and get on your definition. What you put in the back streets.
Oh, my definition is simple. A prospect is simply a dog that is showing promise to start school or showing promise in school. That's a prospect. A prospect to continue on. Before that, it's just a dog on a chain, no matter how it's bred.
I agree with that also.
I don't care. I mean, I might see something and dogs knowing the behavior of my dogs, but I wouldn't consider it a prospect until I see promise of it continuing.
You heard what you said. You heard what you said. You said you won't consider a prospect, but that don't mean the definition of prospect is not something else.
Right. Well, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, we gonna have our own standards. We gonna have our own standards and how we gonna do in our yard, regardless of what the hell the definition say. But the definition is the definition. You know.
I mean, but it's okay. Let me just say this. Now,
There goes the
Hey, I love these type of conversations, man.
possibility or likelihood of something.
Okay.
I got another one for y'all tomorrow.
For instance, game breaker. For instance,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Bane's granddaughter just, mind you, she been in the house for 7 months. Her first time on the yard was yesterday. Right? She went. This bitch only 7 months old. This bitch went at 3 different dogs soon as she got on the yard. Soon as she got on the yard, she went at 3 different dogs. Like she been there 10 years. Like she owned the motherfucker, right?
All right.
So she only 7 months. Now, depending on who would own that dog, they gonna say, oh well, yeah, she a future prospect. Now, her being off of my stock and I know what I'm supposed to look for, I could say she might be a prospect because I didn't have plenty dogs come on the yard that was mine's, that came from a different yard in a different state, or other dogs from other people. And when they came on the yard, they didn't have that same energy.
Right.
They was looking around, not saying they was a cur, but they was looking around trying to, but this bitch only 7 months and she's trying to hit everything. So at the end of the day, a prospect, no matter if it's yours, because a lot of people show favoritism, no matter if it's yours or if it's somebody else's, to be a potential prospect is certain things you still have to do before you become an official prospect. A potential and an official prospect is not the same thing.
Facts.
Just like when you in the playoffs, you have a potential to win the championship. You're not a champion yet. You're in the playoffs. So it's the word play is the biggest thing that's going to create the arguments. The word play. But if we get past the word play and get to the facts, which is if you didn't do the things to potentially see that dog is a future prospect, then again, It's all on who you talk to.
Yeah, I think it's not a prospect until it's prospectively gonna do something later on.
Yeah,
It
I
could
feel
be a
you have to go through
minor,
certain things to be a prospect, bro. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
But
but
yeah, but they say, but like
it
I
could
say, we
show
got
you promise.
everybody gonna have their own opinion what it is. We done said the same thing 30 different ways, but the
Yep,
definition is
yep.
the definition. I'm not saying that
I think it
that
boils down to
my
everybody
prospect.
standing.
You gotta,
I'm not saying that my prospect ain't gonna be touched. Shit, my prospect might be looked at 8 to 10 times. That's just me and my prospect. But the definition of a prospect is the possibility of some future events occurring, meaning that it haven't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? That means if we got the likelihood or maybe that it can happen, but it hasn't quite happened yet. That's what the definition says of a prospect, and that's what it is. But everybody gonna have their own measurements and their own standard on their yard. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
I could dig that, but
You
like
know.
a prospect is something that's prospectively gonna go the next level. So I don't call them a prospect until they are a prospect to go to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Period. Other than that, they're not a prospect. They're a dog on the chain that I'm feeding, and I might like them a lot.
I
And
think
that's
we
what
all
we
just
do
got different
nowadays.
time. We all saying the same thing, just on a different timeline.
That's what
Right.
I'm
But
saying. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. We all
this
saying the
the
same
question
thing
that we need to
35
be
different ways.
asking. This the question that needs to be asked. Is that your interpretation or were you taught that?
Now, that's what I was taught. So, and then, like, say, I'm going to do a weight pulling contest. If I got a dog that's bred by champion weight pullers, but can't pull a brick, I ain't gonna call it a prospect till it can pull a brick and starts learning. Now it's a
Yeah.
prospect.
Yep.
Now it's a prospect to get to that to pull them weights or wall climb. If I got a dog bred by champion wall climbing dogs, and just because it's bred that way, it's not a prospect until I can see it can jump up a wall and start running up a wall. So a prospect isn't a prospect till it's showing the potential to do what's in the future of that dog. You know what I mean? And that's how I call it. That's what I would call a prospect.
Yeah, yeah.
And until
Hey,
then,
I peeked at it. It looked good, but I'm gonna dig deeper in it when I can get back there.
right.
Yeah, but that's
I
not
love,
how most yards were structured though.
I love being a
You know,
part of this conglomerate, man.
and we gotta go off of the guys that had them in the public, because that's like a whole stencil of what everybody can see. You feel me?
Yeah. Hey, Buck,
And now go ahead.
that was a great question you just asked. From my perspective, I say both. At first, starting with the animals, I maybe was taught or heard somebody say prospect, and I formulated my own outlook of what they're supposed to be. But then once I had a lot of experience with the animals, I seen what a real true prospect was. You know what I'm saying? So, like Lot Boy was saying, I get all of it. I
Yeah,
think we
but
all
yeah, like
saying it
Buck said, like a lot of us go off of what the next man taught us. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
And he could have been on
Yeah,
his
but you
own
gotta
self
at
taught.
least, I mean,
I'll be back.
hey, look,
I missed everybody's take on it, but
if he's a puppy, he's a puppy. If he's a
yeah.
young prospect, that means it's a
A prospect could
possibility.
be, man, 15 to 21 months, man. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker old enough to show that he want to get involved, he want to be involved, but that don't necessarily mean that he been touched. It's plastic
Right.
still, especially if it's on your yard and you know your
Most
animal.
Showing
people,
promise to start school or showing promise in school.
most people selling yearlings as prospects.
Mm-mm. They're yearly.
Well, no, that's what it would be. It's like, okay,
I'm about to get the bread back. You got a
he's a puppy, and then once he gets about 15
Yeah.
months,
Oh, you know, okay. No,
18, once he gets over that, What's that? Some background? He would be
Hey,
considered a
Saul, get your
prospect.
ass out them comments and get up here, Saul. Get up out of them comments, brother.
So and then after the prospect stage, then it's like, oh yeah, I looked at him once. Oh yeah, he had 2 rolls. Oh yeah, he had 3
Little
rolls.
leg Stephanie.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, we got an expert popping up. Let's get Schoolboy in the building.
Schoolboy. All right, time for me to
Mr.
shut up.
Garcia.
Schoolboy.
Everybody, what's happening?
Mr. Garcia, how you doing? I'm about to mute up. I'm about to
I'm
mute
doing
up.
good, thanks. How's
Glasses
everybody doing?
instruction.
I know Schoolboy's coming with that heat. Happy Father's
Hey,
Day.
hey,
Thank
Professor
you.
Garcia. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Hey, Professor Garcia, we got a question.
Yeah,
What is a prospect?
a prospect. Yeah, I did a video recently on that. A prospect is something that has the potential of working out.
Does it have to be touched?
Back in my day, yeah.
So it had to be, so it couldn't be a 25-month-old male that's untouched. He can't be looked at or sold as a prospect.
I wouldn't accept that. No, no. It's not so much the age; it's the experience. Because it's like if you're in the real estate and there's a potential for you to buy this property and you're more than likely going to buy that property, that's a hot prospect. That's a prospect. Or there's a prospect of you buying that property.
But the definition of the word, it don't mean the same thing that it means to a dog
I
man, right?
love this shit.
The definition of the word is a likelihood of some future events occurring, meaning that it hasn't happened yet, but it got the possibility of.
Right.
Yeah.
Possibility
in
or
the dog man
likelihood.
mind,
Possibility or likelihood.
we gotta be on the scene the possibility. See what it say?
Yeah.
It say hope, expectation, anticipation.
Well,
Yeah. So the only way to know that is to see it.
right. So
You have to look at them.
Is a potential breeder, but an unschooled dog. I mean, I wouldn't see it as that unless it's showing promise in school. Or whatever.
Yeah. Now that may have changed over the years because you see a lot of people say this is a prospect and it's a puppy. A 3-month-old, 4-month-old puppy.
Oh man, I don't accept.
They're basing that. They're basing that on the pedigree, or the parents or grandparent. That's the only way I see them saying that. This is a hot prospect. This is a prospect, future prospect, or however they want to term it. But it has to be, like I said, something that's likely to work out, has a potential to work out.
Go to that next level.
And yeah,
somebody on the
it'd be like
machine?
But that's a dog. That's a dog in schooling, though. That's a dog that's in schooling.
Hey man, who the hell playing the piano, man?
Right.
See, and because the
they
fact that
IV empty.
This was a fact. Like dudes, they wouldn't really want to buy dogs off of guys that have been looked at already. You feel me? That's a huge stigma. I don't know if that was like that in your day. Maybe not, but that's a huge stigma.
Yo, Ween is too funny, bro. What's
That's
up,
why they
Lone
always
Wolf? What's up,
say,
bro?
"Oh, ain't no dog man never gonna sell you his best dog, his good dog," or that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Your likelihood of having a good dog off if you're going to deal with a breeder would be one that he hasn't put his eyes on, because if he put his eyes on him, let's say he just murked one in 10 minutes. You think he's still going to sell you that dog?
If he's not a hunter, he is.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Again,
Man,
So
About the 60s and
the
70s, man.
likely
Everybody was
Yeah,
hunting,
that
bro.
all depends.
Everybody
yeah
was hunting back then.
yeah. So basically, what you're saying, which is mostly correct, is they're going to sell you a young dog that's not touched, or they're going to sell you the finished product for the most part.
Right.
But certain people like Carver, you know, or other people, you would go to their property and then they'd show you the dog. They'd roll it for you. And then if you liked it, you bought it. And Carver did that with several dogs. And there are stories from different dog men that saw these dogs rolled and they choose one over the other. And then they lament later, man, I should have got that one, you know, instead of the one I got, or I should have got both of them, or I should have got that one too, you know, like that. So there are different ways that it happened. And definitely, if you're a competitor, a breeder competitor, then you're not going to give up something that you think is, you know, real good.
Yeah.
But again, it depended on the person. But some people, like someone just mentioned, they weren't competitors. They were breeders, and they cut loose a lot of dogs. Like Heinzel, he competed some. He did, but he sold a lot of good dogs. He sold White Rock or gave them away. You know. Same thing with Daibo. You know, several offspring of Daibo and Arizona Pete, like that. So he sold a lot of dogs, or gifted them, real good ones. And he did it like that when they were young, or after, you know, the finished product was done.
Yeah.
But that's what a prospect means. So so if you look at it like that, this has a potential to work out. Well, how do you know that? You had to have looked at it.
Yeah,
You'd have to have seen that.
If I went and bought a dog from Schoolboy and he said it was good, me listening to Schoolboy would be good. But if I ain't see it with my own eyes, would you bet your house on it? You know what I mean? And that's
there you go.
So it won't be a prospect till I seen that. Okay, now I can prospect it.
Yeah.
Go to the next level with it. I can use everything any breeder tell me.
Well, it's good you brought that up. It's good you brought that up, because what I would do is, if I sold you or gave you a dog, I'm going to tell you everything about it, including how it performed.
Right.
And then if you bought it from me, I'm going to tell you, take the dog home, walk him around a little bit, get his legs under him, look at him, tell me what you think. Some people did it. I never had somebody say the dog didn't do exactly what you said. In fact, they would say the opposite. This dog did exactly what you said he would do.
But the definition of the verb, basically, you're saying you already know what it can do.
Right.
If you already know what it do, you don't. It's not future events occurring. It means
it's not a likelihood. Then it's not a likelihood.
That means that it already occurred.
For me, it's not a likelihood. For you who bought it, it's a likelihood.
Why don't you just bake
I already know.
You gotta have candles.
Right. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. You know, you have to. You're putting up your good money, so you expect something. So I have to know my blood and my dogs enough to tell you what to expect. If you see that, you're happy with the product. Some people didn't. They just took the dog at face value, what I said, and then did them later or bred them or whatever they did with them. But some people actually did that, you know. Ask Lockdown Rudy. He did that.
So does the dog man definition of prospect vary from the English definition?
Well, I think it does now.
Goalposts, yeah.
Yeah, I think it does now.
See, a dog man definition is somebody already knows. The word definition is that nobody knows. It's just a possibility, maybe, but not quite. We don't know yet. You know, that's the
possibility or
bullshit
or likelihood.
My
That's
first,
you hitting.
let's just say 10 or 15 years, just to not even go too current. That's what dog. That's how
Any
they
fuck up?
sold
Nah,
dogs.
that's
That was
right.
the
I mean,
market.
Rodney.
That was the
You
market,
see,
brothers.
you see what it say? Expectation, anticipation. Anticipation means we waiting on it. It hasn't happened yet, but we can anticipate it that it's going to happen. That's the word. But in the dog man, as the prospect is,
They'll
we
tell you.
already
They'll
know that
tell
he
you
got the
straight
ability. He
up.
can do it.
They
Somebody
sell a
knows something.
prospect, and this is factual. I'm not just making this up. They sell a dog. You ask, what has the dog done? He ain't did nothing. He's a prospect.
But
Please.
hold on.
Thousands and thousands of times. Thousands of
That's
times.
what they say. That's what they say now. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
So-
not talking about now. I'm talking about even in early 2000s, late 90s.
Well,
It
maybe
was
that's
still
when it
that.
started. Maybe that's when it started.
You know,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hold on.
the
So
biggest Mayday
But I
Southern
gotta
Kennels was
I
they
gotta go.
had to be one of the biggest kennels.
I gotta believe the veteran. I gotta believe what Schoolboy says is true. I gotta believe what Buck says is true. You know.
Well, I can't help when I
But
was
the
born,
definition.
but
But
I remember
everybody.
as a young man,
Hey,
you know,
Buck, you
you
dumb as
can't
hell,
help when you
bro.
were born.
check
You
that
know,
Hey,
front
Buck, you
wheel.
dumb as hell, bro. Hey, I can't help when I was born.
yeah, and I can't
Hey,
help when I was born. All I could do is just come in and
Hey,
learn as
take it
much as
easy
I
with
can
that
while I'm
But
here.
motherfucker.
at the same time, you want MJ to help
Take
when
that
he
front
born.
wheel.
But we ain't gonna get on
Well,
that.
that's what it was. That's what it was. You called when they show it on their website, and you call them or you talk to, you look at those gazettes and you call those motherfuckers. That's what I'm
I
talking
love,
about.
I love a,
Right.
I
Now,
love a
those,
good
Schoolboy
debate
was
I
with
probably
think
no
those were
feelings
the
and
touch
emotions
prospects
in
for
involved.
there,
them.
and he didn't have to do that shit. Like a young guy coming up from my era, you know, I didn't know them mothers. I didn't eat dinner with the Crenshaws and the fucking, you know what I'm saying, all Heinzels and shit, you know what I'm saying? So Burt Rails and shit. We could call those guys. And if they got some prospects, that's just an older dog on their yard that they haven't looked at. Now, if he's already gone through the schooling process, that will be disclosed, you know. But if he's
But
just
remember,
a young dog that I'm gonna look at in the fall, it got to be something prospective about that. You see what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, this is gonna be the 5 I'm taking out this fall. I'm gonna school them out. You know what I'm saying?
So, Mr. Schoolboy, in your era, it's impossible to be a prospect in dog man terms without being looked at ahead of time.
Not really.
not if you
No.
the difference
No, not
between
really.
It
Because
must be
what
looked
look.
I'm
at
saying
to be
is
a
that's
Yeah.
a
prospect.
prospect to
Okay.
them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Because
They see something they
because what you
know
have, what
their
look at
bloodline.
it this way. Look at it this way. You have a prospect, right? And then after what comes after that? Proven.
Contender.
You school, no,
Okay,
he's a
Proven.
proven.
schooler.
Okay.
You go through schooling.
Right? Well, the prospect
And if you're
is
not
going
good
through
enough
schooling.
in
What
schooling, you either get culled or you're just not going to be a match dog. He's not match quality, right?
right.
See, if
But
you
what I'm
looking at him,
saying is
then I can
what
tell
I'm
you if he's
saying
match
is
quality or not. When I'm buying
yeah,
a prospect, I'm not buying a dog that's guaranteed match quality. That's up to you to look at
right.
and see if it's to your liking, and then you match the dog.
Right. And then if he wins or if he proves himself, that's a proven dog. That's a bulldog or whatever other term you want to use.
Yeah, he's a match
Up to
dog.
that
Or
point,
he's
up to that
yeah.
point,
Are we
up to
calling
that point,
dogs prospects before schooling?
that's what I'm saying. That's what I hear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I hear. And okay, and if it's before schooling, then what makes it a prospect?
His age.
Yeah.
He's of age. He's acting really good. It's the likelihood to succeed or potential customer, client. That doesn't mean that they spent money with you.
A lot of
This
dogs
what
that
I
act good that ain't here no more.
This is what I
Regardless,
get. I
if it's a
get
dog
a
on your
prospect
yard,
don't mean good.
and
A
because
prospect don't mean good.
let's say he was off a Schoolboy Red, he's fucking 15 months old. You know that everything that this dog Schoolboy Red done produce is high likelihood. This dog acts great. He been doing shit, you know, trying to get at shit since he was born. You know what I'm saying? That without being touched, that's a prospect.
It's the anticipation that he can be something good. That he might
It's a
turn out good in
possibility
school.
or
It's a hope.
likelihood.
A hope. When they say the word hope, hope means that we doesn't know, but we hope it work out. But if you already done schooled him and seen him go 4 pounds up, or seen him
Hope
2 dogs,
you
or seen him do this and do that, you already know. So it really is not a prospect anymore because you already done seen what he can do. I'm just saying the
Exactly.
definition of the word, but to the dog man, a prospect has to be touched and looked at. But the definition of the word is saying it doesn't have to
No,
be
no,
touched
that's
at.
not. But that's wrong, though, lot boy, because that's not to a dog man. Because I just showed you 20 years where it was referred to on some of the biggest platforms in these dogs.
But
Right?
me,
Tab, for instance, White's Tab. You know, those guys, they sold a gazillion damn dogs. They'll sell you an untouched prospect 20 months old, bruh. All day. And people would get those dogs. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. That's just
hey,
that
man,
was it was a gamble.
smash like, but I'm saying me myself, he would have to be looked at for me to call him a prospect. But the definition of the word, means that he doesn't have to be looked at for it to be considered a prospect. That's the definition. The likelihood of some future events occurring mean that it hasn't happened yet. When they say future events, that mean that it hasn't happened yet. We hasn't seen it yet, but we think it's a prospect that it can happen. That's the definition of the word. But to us as dog man, I'm not gonna call a dog a prospect unless he showed that he will stand the line, you know, or not quit. And this right here, historic times, speaking 40, 50 years ago. But the definition of the word means future, mean that it's not present, not past, but future, mean that we haven't seen it yet. That's the definition of the word. But to us as dog man, they would have to be seen that and looked at for we to call them a prospect or anything else.
That's not true though. That's not true,
I know,
bro.
I know what you're saying, bro.
I just told you proof on some of the biggest platforms. These are some of the biggest platforms, dog men that had dogs. You know, yards of shit. I'm talking about before the Michael Vick shit, bro. I'm talking about, you know, yards of shit. You drive through some neighborhoods, you see 5 fucking yards within goddamn 2 miles and shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And that's what it was, man. You call these people, the Gazettes, they still got phone numbers. Some of them phone numbers still fucking work on some of them goddamn shits. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they were doing. That's what it was. Posted in clear English.
So was that a marketing tool, or is that how they really felt?
Well, that's what you want because for one, of course, probably the price of dogs probably went up, right? So so then you got this economy of people trying to get into dogs. And if you was getting into dogs, like an older guy that would, if he was trying to tell you the right shit, he would tell you to get one. Of course, from somebody you trust, but get one that hasn't been looked at. You feel me? That was a thing. You just have better fucking success with that. You just have better success with that, you know, for various reasons, for people's bias.
But you can also have success, and you can also have success if the guy say, I looked at it, I know he good, but you can look at him too. You know, if that's what you're looking for,
he already
and
got
that's
your
what you
money,
want.
though. He already got your bread at that point. So you can go for that. You know what I'm saying? Some people go for that, but some people I don't want them done at all. And when I get them, I'm gonna look at them to make sure. I mean, that's not 100%, but you're gonna look at them
Mr.
thoroughly.
Schoolboy, I got a question for you, Mr.
Sure that
Schoolboy.
he hasn't been done.
Yeah,
Mr. Schoolboy. So when I know me and this lot boy, you sent me your papers so I could fill them out to you and just cash out you the money and just fill them out and send them back to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just contact me.
So that's how they was running it. That's how they was running it.
Yeah, some of them. Some
If
of
we
them,
wasn't buying dogs back then, then I get it.
and some of
But
them was a marketing tool. Things change all the time. For example,
Definitely.
you look at these older guys, and people, there's articles and people talking about them. You go, well, Earl Tudor bred cold dogs, right? Cold females, right? That's
right.
true until he didn't. At some point, he stopped doing that. So back in the day, in the 20s and 30s, he might have done it. In the 40s and 50s, he wasn't doing that anymore, because you see the negatives behind it. You keep doing it, what do you get? A bunch of cold dogs. That's one example. So some people, this is a prospect, and then it changes through time, because why are you calling that a prospect? What makes that a prospect? And that's why I asked today, what makes it a prospect? You said age, how it acts, behavior, and pedigree.
Yeah.
That's it. So what is that? To me, that every dog has that.
Well, no. If you're
Every
a breeder,
dog.
if you're a breeder, every dog doesn't have that, because every dog, man, ain't
Well,
breeding the same shit and getting the same results that I'm getting.
Okay,
So of course,
but what I'm
it's
saying,
the results thing. It's not just some Tom, Dick, and Harry popping up. He did a breeding, all of a sudden they 15 months. These are prospects. No, this bitch is a bitch that has been producing, or this male is fucking White's tab. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's been producing a ton of good dogs. So if he's 25 fucking months, I tell you, I got this fucking dog over here, and send me $2,000 or send me 2,500. You know what I'm saying? He's a prospect. I didn't make this up. I didn't just come up with this shit and like, oh yeah, let me get everybody in an uproar. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it was on that level when I was communicating out here, you know? And maybe I'm too young to know. Who knows?
No, it has nothing to do with age. Even the time in the breed. It's personal opinion. So for me, it wouldn't matter what dog it came off of. If I don't see a potential in the dog, meaning he doesn't have some roles, he doesn't have some work ethic, he doesn't have behavior, certain things about him, to me, that's not a prospect, because he has no potential, because I haven't seen it. And that's why I say a lot of times now, it's just how the dog is bred or how it acts. And when I say all dogs act good, I don't mean that. What I mean is,
but you hadn't seen it. Let's say it's my dog. You hadn't seen it. Even if I told you it rolled, you still haven't seen it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But to you, it's a prospect. But to me,
it's a prospect.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because most dogs today,
that's how it was sold.
Are prospects because of their pedigree. Because that's right, Mike. Damn perspective. That's right, perspective. Everybody got different perspective.
And that's how it was sold, as a prospect.
Yeah.
And that's how I purchased
it. No expectations on that shit. Now, if I told you that this motherfucker rolled twice, I say, hey, schoolboy, I looked at him 15 minutes the first time. I looked at him 35 the second time. You know, he's a good straight ahead dog. You know, allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's different. That's totally different.
But it's still considered a prospect.
Because if I get him and I drop him and he pull up in 20, now I'm calling you like, hey, brother, hey, you know, you said he's seen 35. This motherfucker pulled up in 15 minutes. You know, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
It's different like that. Now, prospect,
but we
no expectations on it. And this all came from a guy. He bought a dog from a guy that said it was a prospect, and then he got the dog. He like literally tried to put it on a hog, and the dog just basically didn't show any signs that he had been rolled and shit. But dude told him like, this, I didn't say roll dog or no match dog. You know what I'm saying? I sold you a young prospect, which meaning that he's just good to, to think that he's promising. You've been right about dogs that even when they puppies, you say, man, that's gonna be a bad motherfucker. And you showing up, you turn up, that motherfucker's a bad motherfucker. We all did that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and what now again, everybody gonna have different opinions because of their yard, but in all reality, anybody in here that play AAU basketball or grew up football, I did boxing and Muay Thai and judo, anybody that's in the fight scene, whatever, you cannot I have never seen something or somebody get called a prospect who hasn't put no work in.
But check this out. Can I jump in there? Go
ahead.
The dogs, with this little small aspect of this dog that we're talking about only lasts a couple minutes on an average. This isn't AAU. This isn't 2-3 games on a Saturday and wake up and play 2 games. And maybe if you win those 2, you're playing 3 games on a Sunday. This isn't that. This dog has a small window to where he's going to be competing on that level. So we can't look at it on a wide base.
Well, but this it's still again. I'm not disagreeing with nobody, but the problem with it is, but this is the problem with it. You got a lot of new people that's potentially listening to what we're talking about, and I always say this, no matter who channel I'm on. Remember, you always got new people coming in this game. Now, if me, you, and Schoolboy go out and look for us some potential good dogs for our yard future program. Now, if all 3 of us go visit different people, and then 2 people yards talking about they got prospects out of 5 yards we went to, only 2 of them can show us things why they call these dogs prospects. The other ones, they bred just as good, but they cannot show you nothing with the dogs on the ground. They can't show you nothing with the parents or the grandparents, but they talking about they got prospects. Are we spending all that money with the people who didn't show us shit but claim they got prospects, or we gonna go to with our eyes seen and we know these dogs are potential prospects?
I mean, that's a great point, but I'm talking about the market. I'm talking
I
about.
mean, I know if you had a choice, but if you had a choice as a dog, man, of course you're gonna go look at what they know for facts.
But you know, see that's what I'm saying though. So
it don't make the other dog not a prospect. It don't mean that the other dog ain't gonna turn out to be better than that dog that you already looked at.
Oh no, that's completely true. That's why I said
here's the way I see it. Here's the way I see it. In the scenario you gave, but the dog was sold as a prospect, right? That's a selling tool. That in a person that's buying something is going, okay, prospect. That means he might be a good one, or he has a potential to be a good one. Then the dog don't turn out, won't hit a lick, won't chase a hog, won't hunt, nothing. And the person complains, you said he was a prospect. And the retort is, yeah, he's a prospect. That doesn't mean he was worth a shit.
Exactly.
That don't make sense. That don't make sense to me.
But it do, Mr. Schoolboy, because a prospect don't mean good. It ain't no time in the definition. Now, one time in the definition we read just now, did it say it mean that it's going to be good, that we think it's going to be high quality good? It say a hope of future events occurring. It don't say that it's going to be good. It can stand in the corner. It can stand in the corner.
Yeah. Now, read the definition again. It says it has a potential. Has a potential.
No, it don't say it. It say the possibility.
Okay. What's a possibility mean?
It's a possibility, likelihood of future.
What does likelihood? What does likelihood mean? What does likelihood mean?
Maybe, likely.
No. Likely means it's probably going to work out, and that's where the definition gets fucked up, because it says likelihood.
No. It's some future event though occurring. So that's something occurring, not occurred.
That's not for the dog though. That's for an event.
And that's what I said earlier.
The likelihood of this dog going.
Mr. Schoolboy, and that's what we said
Look
earlier.
at this. Look
So
at the
a
second.
dog,
Look at
man,
the second definition. It says a person regarded as likely to succeed or as a potential customer, client, etc.
Right.
So likely to succeed. What does that mean?
and then
A
what it say
potential
up
customer, what
under
does
there?
that mean?
What it say is similar. It say candidate.
No. Listen, no, he got a great point. But what does a potential customer or client mean?
Well,
Is that
that's
they
where
haven't
that
done
part.
it yet.
That means that
They
you have
haven't
not
done it
done
yet.
it yet. You have not done
Right.
it yet.
Right. That means you haven't. In the dog world, it means
So we both
you
could
haven't
be
been
right.
tested.
We both
You
could be
haven't
right.
been. Yeah. Well, that's how
Yeah,
you got to
Mr.
relate
Schoolboy,
it.
you're right. That's what I say, Mr. Schoolboy. In the dog world,
In the dog
that's
world,
what it
doesn't
means.
mean it's game tested. Doesn't mean it's a winner. Doesn't mean it's produced anything.
Exactly.
But so, Mr. Schoolboy, can the prospect be a cur?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
It could end
that's
up.
what I'm
It
saying.
could
It
end
depends
up.
how
It could.
never be bred before.
It could end up being a cur because
Yeah,
it's
but
not
it
a
have
finished
strong
product.
promise. But to
It's
you,
not
that it mean that it's have strong promise.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
see, I look at it. It say similar. It say hope. Hope mean that we got a good hope. Expectation mean that we can expect. The anticipation mean that we think it's going to happen.
Right.
You know. And then the other one say a candidate means that he's a good candidate. A possibility mean it's possible. But you say likelihood mean almost probable.
I mean, it's a lot of hope.
You're right.
Them hope
You're right.
dogs ain't living no more.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're right.
and it's and they have to put those words in because, like Buck said, it hasn't happened yet. It's not
Yeah.
finished yet. So that's why there's so much disparity and there's so much, opinion on it all over the place. Because I'm like you. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying, for my definition, it had to have the potential of working out. Meaning, I had to see it.
Had to see it. Like we got to
I
see
had to
it. We have
see
to
it
see
do
it.
something. Yeah.
Like I say, my definition of a prospect, it ain't gonna have shit to do with the word in the dictionary. Cause my definition as a dog man is gonna be something totally different than hope or possibility. I'm gonna almost know that it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
More than likelihood in my eyes as a prospect. But the definition of the word means that some future event occurring, mean that the event hasn't happened yet. Not past, not present, but future.
Right. And what's that event in the dog world?
That mean that he gonna turn out to do something.
A roll.
He's gonna well, for me it means win. Has to be a winner.
Bingo.
Yeah. And if you a breeder, it means producer. It means it's a producer.
Yeah.
So like I said, people use it in different ways and it can mean different things in people's opinion. Nobody's wrong here. It's just, it's like if you have standards, if you have rules for yourself and you stick to them,
it's your perception.
Not everybody going to agree with you. They're not going to agree with you, but that's how you do things. That's how you look at things. So for me, a prospect, I have to see it in against something else to see it has potential to win, because first and foremost, I'm using the dog for competition. So I'm not going to say that this dog is a prospect if I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, it's on perception. Everybody got their own perception because one person good is different from another person good. One person great is different from another person great.
So he just hit. So the dog's 20 months old. He acts great. This motherfucker popping the chain, everything. I walk something by him. He just damn near just flip out trying to get him. What is he?
What is he? 20 months old? He's a young, untouched dog. He's a young, untouched dog. Untouched dog with a great attitude.
So is there a possibility or likelihood in that right there?
That he's going to work out?
No, not work out, because the prospect ain't got to work out either. Remember when you said the other way, the one that's been looked at, he don't got to work out either. The prospect ain't got to work out either. Remember when you
no. That's right. You're right. You're right.
Work out either.
Right. Right.
How's that going?
Hey, somebody got something going back there.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so
But
Okay,
just
but the difference is you saw the dog do something in one scenario. The other scenario, he acts like he wants to do something, but he ain't done nothing.
But there's
Because
a
there's dogs that
possibility or likelihood. Have you ever seen a dog on I'm gonna ask you this, schoolboy, because you've been in here, you said that you dibble and dabbled and shit, you know. Have you ever took one straight off the chain and put some money on them and that you never saw?
No, that I never saw.
Even like a little smaller purse, just a small little.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm trying to think because I think I have. Let me think.
The chain, or you know, something that you never saw before, but you know that this motherfucker's about to go handle his business. Have you ever done that? Yes or no?
Yes.
You proved my point right there. So the possibility or likelihood is there that some future event occurring.
Okay, but let me give you the scenario. See if it makes a difference. It may not. It may not matter to you. It was a dog that I bred, and I sold it to another person. He schooled the dog out, brought him back to me. I matched him. That's it. So it was my dog. And in that conversation, what did he do? How did he do? And he was you could tell he'd been rolled out. He was done.
Oh, so that's the only scenario.
That was the scenario. Yeah.
So there was never an untouched dog that you just said, you know what? Let me just drop him.
No,
for couple $100.
No. Hell no.
So did you ever take one off and you automatically knew that he would engage in the battle? Like, you know, 100%.
Yeah, well,
that this motherfucker is gonna go in here and take care of business.
Yeah, most of mine did that. Yes, but there's a lead up to that. There's a way to get them to do that, and I mentioned that before. When I roll my dogs, they started right away, but it wasn't just you take them off. That you wait 2 years or a year and a half or whatever and start schooling them. There's a build up to that. There's hunting involved. There's scratching involved. There's I can't get into it here, but there's certain things I would do so that when I faced them up for their first time in a real roll, I knew they were going to go 99% of the time. Because I had one that acted good and did all that, and he wouldn't even start. And he would even scream at dogs through the fence and scream at other animals running by, a squirrel or whatever it was. But when I faced him up, he didn't do shit. So it's not 100%, but for the most part, yeah. That the schooling, what we call schooling, for most people is rolling, right? That's not how I look at schooling. Schooling happens throughout their whole life, from when they're little.
Since a puppy.
Exactly.
To what they around, to what they see, to what you introduce to them.
Right.
You start scratching them at 7 and 8 weeks.
Somebody drop the disclaimer. Somebody drop the disclaimer real quick.
Yeah, that's both. That one's both. That one we could all agree that's both. Because some people probably say rolling, some people say schooling. But
that's the
process would be
the schooling is the rolling. That you're right. But what I'm saying in my vernacular,
right,
the schooling of the dog starts when they're puppies. But yeah, that's across the board. Schooling is rolling, and we're talking 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago.
Right.
But that right. But what I did, because I'm always thinking outside the box, is I expanded on that and say, well, I put my kids in school when they're 5 years old. So I'm gonna do that to my pups. I'm teaching them from when they're little, even though I'm not rolling them yet. That's how I looked at it. Again, just like this prospect thing is how you look at it. And I'm just giving my point of view, what I think. I'm not saying anybody here is wrong.
They watching it. They seeing what's going on. It don't mean that they're engaging it, but they around it. They're gonna understand, like, this is what I do when I get bigger. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what they're looking at. This is what they're seeing. Yeah.
Yep. And even when I condition my dog, I condition the older ones in front of the younger ones, so that the first time I took a younger one out to do work, he just did it because he saw the older ones doing it, and he wants to do it too. I never had to teach him to run alongside a bike or work a tug of war or work a flirt pole or spring pole. And again, I'm talking many years ago with the young pups. When I was rolling older dogs, I would put them in a kennel and prop them up on a chair or a bench, and they could see what was going on in the box. I'm showing them what they're going to do. And I'm teaching them how they're going to work.
Part of schooling. That's a part of schooling too.
That's part of my schooling, yeah.
But the true dog man schooling is that mean rolling. But if you do what you're supposed to do in your shit, that's a part of schooling too.
Yeah,
because you're teaching
because
Anytime
they're all going to
they're learning something. That's schooling. You're teaching them.
That's in my mind, yes.
Yep, in my mind too, Mr. Schoolboy.
Yeah, because they're all going to get rolled. They're all going to at least try to,
Yep.
And like you said, you always have some, just like you have dogs that scream on the chain, this and that, you put them up, they don't do shit. They run away. Could be immaturity. It could be they just ain't going to work out. They're not that type. A lot of times because they're young.
Yeah, they don't understand all the way.
No,
This how you
they're not
debate like
mentally.
gentlemen, though.
They're not mentally. Yeah, they're not mentally prepared. Yeah, because anytime you have a conversation, there may be at some point where you're not going to agree. You may not even like what the other person says, but you can't hash it out if you can't talk about it. Because nobody's right 100%, especially me. And that's how come I can engage with other people. Your points of views are valid. I'm not saying you're wrong. I wouldn't do that because your experience has showed you that. So in today's world, a prospect, for me, with the legal sports and the hunting, prospect, let's say hog hunting, it would be a young dog that I can take out, run in tandem with an experienced catch dog, and he engaged with the hog with the other catch dog. Once he did that, okay, he's a prospect. Because after I do that, and that's how my friends did it. After I do that a couple of times, now I take him out by himself, and he catches hogs by himself. Once he catches a hog, controls it, does that successfully, and he knows what he's doing, he's the finished product. But up to that point, once from the first time I take him out with other dogs to catch, he's a prospect.
I dig it.
Yeah. Now with the legal sports, I mean, there's some variance there. I mean, the first time he pulls weight, is he a prospect or is he proven? Now you're going to have some debate on that. Treadmill race, wall climb, French lure course. They would have to come up with their own ideas about that, Yeah. I mean, what would you call in today's world a prospect for weight pulling? What would that be?
I think
I wouldn't know.
Already be learning to pull weight, and perspective could be in competition.
It would definitely have to come out with some dogs that's throwing some good weight
if I put a harness on him and throw some weights on the back, that means he's a weight puller.
So he has to be a
But if it ain't never pulled no weight, it can't be no prospect.
Right.
Same thing. See, if he hasn't pulled no weight, even in training, he can't be a prospect. That's the way I would look at it. Because once you teach him to pull weight, but he hasn't competed yet.
The NFL draft is full of prospects.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they all play college, right? Most of them. Right. But they're not a professional yet. See? But in boxing, a prospect is like a
They were
4
good in
round, 6
college.
round,
That
They
was
5.
put work in to be
prospect
called
going to
prospects.
Right.
the NBA.
They're professional, but they're not at the 10 round level yet. That's why you have progression. It's 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 round, 10 round, 12 round, like that.
But
So
I
those
mean,
young fighters
due to
coming
all
up,
the one and dones in history, what would you say the average dog only gets maybe 2 rows? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of one and dones, motherfuckers that wouldn't start. And, you got to add them in when you add that motherfucker that got 10 rolls in. The average roll is only gonna be about 3 rolls.
And
that's
if they
it.
don't start, would you consider them a prospect?
You said what?
If they don't start up, would you consider them a prospect?
If they
For
don't
their
start
first
up,
roll,
so
you put
so
them
if I
out, they
looked at
don't
him, he
start.
didn't start up, and just for some reason, maybe he was
Ain't putting no work in.
18 months or something, and then now he's fucking 2 years old,
Right, but at
and
18
and
months,
he's
when he
and
didn't
he's gonna be
start,
one of the ones I'm gonna go look at this winter. Yeah, he's a
right.
prospect. I'm gonna bring his ass. You feel me?
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
mean, but
bring
I
him. I'm
wouldn't
gonna bring him
consider him a
too.
prospect yet. He still ain't started.
But obviously I kept him for some
I
reason.
would say you still looking at him. I wouldn't call him a prospect.
A prospect is he started. He's looking okay. Let's see if we can school him out and get him right. And now he's prospectively gonna go to the next level. Well, if he don't start, he's prospectively not gonna make it.
Well, they prospective. Even if you a puppy and you a
You know what I'm
prospect,
saying?
gonna make it to
So he's
the
a
next day
prospect, all right.
after you have a litter.
So what is a contender?
A contender is a contender. He's ready. He's a go. It's a go. So after
He's been
schooling, and
schooled
you
out.
liked everything about it, and you like, okay, he can compete. Now he's a contender.
Okay.
But before that, he's a prospective contender. And before he start up, he's a prospective cur, I guess. That's how I look at it. But that's just me back in the days.
Well, again, a contender is something that has a potential to at least go for a title.
Yeah,
So I don't know how that plays out in dog.
Well, it's schooled out.
You know,
It's somebody that's been fully schooled out.
yeah, that's how I would look at it. Yes.
Or a contender is someone that already has won, right?
A contender had already put in work. That's not a
A
prospect.
contender has already won, right?
Contender,
Right. And there's
no.
work put in just regular roles. You putting in fucking work. So
If you're willing to
that proves my
contend with
point
him, he's a
again
contender.
that the
If you're willing to
prospect will be
compete
the
with him.
untouched dog if we talking about APBT. It will be the of age, untouched dog. Somebody can get him, wait 2-3 months, and start schooling them out. It's a prospect. A lot of people done that. A lot of people done had great success doing that. Now it basically depends on who you're dealing with. Some dudes, if he didn't work out, he'll give you another one. Another untouched motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Plenty dog men have done it, bro. The Ratliffs did that shit. Plenty dog men.
And they have done it the other way too. They have done looked at it and told you, yeah, this motherfucker look good. I looked at him, and if you want him, here's the price.
For sure. I'm sure. I'm not excluding it, but that's the term though. That shit's valid. That's my argument.
See the dog man term and using the prospect for a shopping center, it's two different ways and two different things. But it's still the same word,
But like you said, it could have just been a selling tool that hit the mainstream. And,
we're none of us are haven't done some of that. For example, we talk about, and we've done it on this show. We talk about dead game, what it means, this and that, right? Okay. Go back to the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. They're advertising stud dogs as being dead game.
Right.
All the big names you talk about, Tudor, Corvino, Kobe, this dog at stud, he's dead game.
How's he at?
And yet,
how's he dead game if he's at stud? That's my
Yeah,
question.
there you go. There you go. Right.
But
right.
So we can argue.
So
that,
some of this,
you know?
yeah, some of these things, like I said about Tudor breeding cold dogs, right? They change over time. And once somebody challenges another person and says, "You're calling, what does dead game mean if he's still alive?" That's when they stop using it. Okay. Because we tend to do things the way everybody else does it.
Exactly.
In Mayfield's time, why did Mayfield bring his dog down so fine that they looked underweight to other people? Why did he do that?
Because he saw it work before.
Because everybody else was doing it. I've asked several men from that time era why they did it, and that's what they tell me. Well, that's the way everybody was doing it. That's how we did it back then.
Yeah.
If you want to get into it, they'll tell you, yeah, you want the bigger dog, you want to bring him down as fine as you can. But what's the science behind it? What's the experience behind it? That's what everybody did, so everybody did it. They can't even tell you whether it was better, whether it was worse. They can't show you in their record that they were more successful than some other top guy who didn't do that. And that's the way we are as just people sometimes. We just follow along with the trend or what's happening or
the game evolved.
The way people think.
It evolved. It changes. It changes
does.
over time.
It does. Which is why when people challenge that dead game shit that they were advertising, that's when it changed. You mean the dog's alive and he's at stud and you're calling him dead game? That don't make no sense. So then people stopped doing that. And later on, you didn't see that in ads anymore. Dead game stud dog.
Because the first, it was also used back then. It was used as a marketing tool also.
That's what it was used for.
Tool. Saying that my dog dead game and he's still a damn live. You know what I'm saying? Like, only thing only thing you see is dead game. But this motherfucker's still alive.
Yeah.
It's a marketing.
So as far as this conversation goes, maybe that has changed for the word prospect.
Nah. Because any combat sport, rather it's a gym, whatever, if you go to them and say you got a prospect, and this is a combat sport, and you inside that gym, and you don't got no prospect that put work in, they gonna look at you like you crazy. Talking about
as a dog man, and on my yard, and I done seen the great grandmother, the great granddaddy, the grandmother, the granddaddy, the mama, the daddy, the auntie, the cousin, and I know this dog is doing the same thing these other dogs doing. I got a pretty good thought in my mind as me being a dog man and knowing my yard that this dog here he's gonna do something. He's gonna turn on. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that.
But a lot of boys,
but as a fighter and a UFC person, you don't got that luxury in the boxing world. You know what I'm saying?
But Lotto Boy, listen. Say Floyd Mayweather, right? You got Mayweather Sr., you got Floyd Mayweather. We know that Floyd had a potential to be a good prospect. Look at the family he came from. We already discussed that. We already discussed that earlier. The prospect word that people are throwing around. Again, if you just go buy a dog that you don't know nothing about, you have no hands-on experience with that family. Most of these guys are saying they have prospect because of how the dog is bred, not from experience. So
that's not right. Yeah.
But see, that's the problem. And we already got past that point. Again, if you go to a combat gym and you talking about you the next prospect, they gonna test you. So if you ain't had no work put in, talking about you a prospect, your ass gonna end up in the ER somewhere.
Just because you put on gloves don't make you a prospect. So
but see, that's in the fighting world. But I'm saying, like, as a breeder, if I go to goddamn Vince, if I go to Vince Cooper yard, he got 100 damn dogs out here, and he can look at this motherfucker here and say, "Well, I know his whole family for the last 15 years. I can tell you right now, he's a good chance. He's going to be a good one. Without
But
looking
that's two different categories.
just what he know of the family.
He's gonna be a
That's two different categories, though. We already established that. That's two different categories.
Yeah.
That's two different categories. A person who has no experience with that cannot say that untouched dog is a fucking prospect.
I agree.
The family part, we already got past that. We know that. This is for the people who don't have experience with the family of dogs or don't have the mama, the daddy, the grandparents. This is what the word is confusion for.
Right.
The whole family aspect, we already know that.
You're right.
But that same person who just bought that dog and that breeder tell him that I got the whole family right here, but this is first time this person buying this dog. Because you're gonna ask about the dog before you buy it, right? You're not just gonna buy a dog and not know nothing about the damn dog. I hope not.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah. So the breeder tell you without touching this dog, without looking at this dog, I saw the whole family. The granddaddy acted that way at 2 months. The father acted that way at 2 months. The uncle acted that way at 2 months. He acting the same way at 2 months. It's a good possibility he's gonna do the same thing that the uncle, the daddy, and the granddaddy did. Like a dog breeder can't say that.
Let me ask you this, loud boy. So if you did that and you went to somebody's yard and they say, yep, this is a prospect because the granddaddy, great granddaddy, daddy's daddy, all that worked out, would you bet your house that dog will start?
You ain't gonna bet your house until you see yourself.
Right.
But it doesn't mean in the breeder eyes that he's not a prospect. A prospect doesn't mean work out. A prospect can go in there and stand in the corner and can be a cur, but that doesn't mean that in the breeder eyes that he wasn't a prospect. He just wasn't, you know what I'm saying, a match dog, a match prospect is what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, in the breeder's eyes, he can still be a prospect without being looked at. But us, and for our standard and for what we're looking for, we're not going to call it a prospect unless we look at it.
Right.
But you can also be a prospect without being looked at, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee that either or is going to work out.
Like he's a potential prospect because of what his granddaddy did, his daddy did, but he's not a prospect until I think I could prospectively take him.
Exactly. But I'm saying you could do that with a dog. You can't do that with men. Because a dog trait and the man trait follows in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Because listen, a lot of these guys out here breeding and ain't been schooled properly.
And 7 times out of 10, and probably 6 times out of 10, it's not gonna work out. 8 times out of 10, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah. Well, first they got to quit using certain words. That would be a beginning, Stop using certain words,
It's the word play.
Stop saying dead game puppies.
Yeah.
Stop saying all game litter.
Y'all need to stop saying that shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
everybody want to use a good punch word or the punchline to make a sale or to make them look better than what they are.
Because honestly, a lot of the the shit we're talking about is from the past. You can't talk that way no more. Right. If I had dogs and somebody come to my yard, I've said it before, all I'm gonna do is sell you a healthy pup. That's it.
Right.
And the pedigree's correct. That's it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the dogs he came from 40 years ago? I'll do that. But up close, I ain't saying shit except that's the mama, that's the daddy. They're healthy, no diseases. There's no history of
rickets,
congenital heart failure, rickets, like that. Because other than that, you're asking for trouble.
Right. And one thing about it, you never know. Everything is a crapshoot. A motherfucker act one way one day and act one way another day, especially when they still a puppy and they're still young.
Well, I've seen that too. I've seen that dogs that were schooled out. One bitch, she come out. I handled one. My friend handled the other. They come out like gangbusters, tearing each other up. Next time he rolled the one he was handling, the other bitch was acting like immature and playing. They were playing, just going through the motions. Weren't even hardly taking hold. After that, he said, I'm a match her. He matched her. She went 3 hours to a draw.
Damn.
Bit like a motherfucker, So you're right. It can go like that, up and down. That's why I always, my way ain't the only way. I'm right and all. I can't do that because there's too many variables that happen, and the way people think and how they perceive things. There's too many different ways to do that, especially with a performance bred athlete like a pit bull or a race horse or whatever. There's too many scenarios that can play out. So I just stick to, this is how I do things. This is what it means to me. And this is how I did it. And this is what I produced. This is what I did. And I go from there. All I can give is my experience. But you got to have that to be able to explain what the hell you're talking about. If you say I had a game dog in 1978, well, what made him a game dog? And then he goes through the process of how you prove his gameness.
Yeah, I agree.
So
But
prospect it means different things to different people, I guess.
Yeah, and it meant different things in different times.
It did.
Yeah. So now, now we can't go out and say, yeah, I got a good prospect. He went 4 pounds up. I 2-dogged him, and he showed me he'd be a good prospect. But we can't say that for a confirmation dog. So what we say for a confirmation dog? Well, his daddy had good structure, good bones, strong looking teeth, the perfect tail length, stood up straight, or whatever. So
I've entered him in shows. He's won a third place, a second place, a first place.
Yep.
Like that.
Yep. Just like that.
But you can't with the word prospect, other than breeding and a physical performance, I don't think you should be using the word prospect other than that.
There you go. Now you said it.
But schoolboy, I understand this because
but it means so much other shit. It means so much other things. It means so much other things.
Yeah. How can you have a prospect for confirmation?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Can you? Or you can't?
Well, in my mind, the only way is, like I said, you've entered in some shows. He's won and got, second, third, maybe a first here and there. And the finished product is what he championed out. Now he's not a prospect no more. He's a show dog champion. That's the only way I would look. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in today's temperament and what they are used for today, we trying to show them in a positive light. There's no room for the word prospect anymore.
No. So as far as weight pulling, maybe wall climb, weight pulling and wall climbing, treadmill, maybe.
If you got a dog that's undershot, it's not a prospect for a confirmation show.
Yep. If this motherfucker look ugly as hell.
Yeah.
Goddamn tail short, tail fat. He ain't a prospect for confirmation.
Right. So
there you go.
The same way, but it starts with the structure and the build and the and everything else. So you can see a puppy growing up to a year old and be like, oh yeah, this one's a prospective show dog. But you have your puppy classes and all of that to start him off, to school him out, to go best to best. You know what I mean? Best in best show.
Yeah.
It starts with how he looks when it comes to prospective show dogs. Is he built correctly? I'm not talking about color pattern or anything like that, but if undershot and got a crocked rear leg, or it's not a prospective show dog.
Yeah. I think that's why you have to have these shows, but so that this stuff can be hashed out, because time changes, things change over time, and perspective changes over time, and definitions can change over time. So yeah, what you said about a perspective show dog, that's it exactly. Yeah. It starts off with structure, and it's based mostly on structure, and then there's type, meaning the attitude, the behavior, and the temperament. That's part of it too.
Right.
So it's those three things: structure, behavior, temperament.
Right.
Yeah.
So but I think prospective is in the mind of the beholder. So when you're talking about a prospect, it's what you believe a prospect is. Because I
think it has to be. It has to be. It's just, I'm old school, diehard.
Right.
I have certain ways of doing things, and I'm just here to explain from my perspective.
I feel.
And that could all go to the wayside, because things change, and what the breed is used for has changed. So now it's a prospective hunting dog or a working dog, a show dog or a legal sports,
Right.
Or even drug and dog sniffing.
Right.
When you're schooling a drug dog sniffing pit bull, my friend had a top female drug and bomb sniffing dog who ended up being the best one in all of South America. As she was learning, he was a prospect.
But if she couldn't smell, she wouldn't be a prospect. I don't care what she looked like.
Well, you're going to find out real quick with something like that. And I would guess, I don't know, maybe with protection trained dogs, obedience trained dogs, which ones are a prospect and which ones aren't. I would think that you're going to find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, the ones that bite your.
I don't know. We'd have to ask some of those experts. I'm not expert in that. Like how do you determine which one has a potential to work out as a protection dog, because we had cow working dogs, and my dad did the same thing. That's where I learned it from. You start when they're 8 weeks old, and you start by taking them in the pickup, and you start by letting them see the older dogs work cattle. And then when they get to be like 6 months old, you throw them out there with the other dogs. And they either follow along and pick up on what they're doing and they do it, or they don't. If they don't, you're out of there. It doesn't take too long.
Right.
Right. I agree.
And like Bunk mentioned, a lot of them, even though people don't talk that way sometimes, a lot of them, you saw them 2 or 3 times and that's it. And then you matched them. And I did that too, but that was after maybe 3 or 4 generations of breeding my own dogs, where I knew them and I could tell, okay, I don't have to skull drag these dogs anymore. I don't have to beat them up and take time off of them and potential to lose teeth and break a leg, all this stuff that could happen in schooling. So I just need to see how they perform. And once I looked at them and thought, man, this dog can win regardless of what I put in front of them, then I'm gonna match them. That's how I did it. But the foundation stuff, I ran through all of them. I started off with, I think it was 18 dogs. By the time I was done, I had 3 left, and that's what I started my family with.
And that's the way you do it.
That's the way it go.
But again, if you listen to what you just said, that's you breeding your own and going through that. The word prospect can be used differently. It's the whole debate is, because I came in late on the chat anyway, but I was listening. But
yeah,
a lot of these guys, I'm gonna just give you an example, schoolboy. Look at the Cottingham dogs up there that Gardner got. Now, out of all them breedings, people that done took females up there, a lot of those dogs were called prospects because of how they were bred.
Yeah.
And
definitely,
quiet as kept. A lot of them, they expired.
Yeah.
I mean, again. We talking about prospects. And we talking about prospects. So the original meaning for prospect, no matter if it was the human or the animal, it had to be something physical in order to know you were a prospect. Rather, it was you was a stud, you was a prospect stud to take over from the father. Rather, it was hunting to put food on the table, bull baiting. To be called a prospect outside of a family of dogs that you was familiar with you had to put in work.
That's the way I learned, and that's the way I took it, and that's the way I ran with it. I did the same thing. So in my vernacular, in the way I did things, and the way I learned, the people I saw how they did it and how they spoke about it, that's how.
And that's correct.
That's my way of doing it too.
Correct.
They had to put in work.
Go talk to the people who breed horses and do all them competitions with the horses. Go to them and ask them what a prospect is. So a lot of people changing.
But tell me what it doesn't mean in the corporate world. When someone's got a prospect of finna buy this land, that mean that they haven't done it yet. I got a prospect of someone who's finna buy it. A possibility.
That's a prospective buyer. That's a prospective buyer.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
and that's where the word prospect comes from.
Right.
Yep.
Let's look at it like this.
Us as dog, man, it means something different. You know, for us, it means something different. And the same thing with fighters. Same thing with fighters. Just like you say, I never seen a prospect that hasn't been in the ring already.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's
why when you look up definitions, that's why there's always more than one. Because it depends on what you're talking about, and in what way are you using the word.
If we looking at land, say we're looking at land to prospectively buy land. Now, this land is a prospect buy for me, but if I'm going to grow corn and the land can't grow corn, then I'm not gonna buy it. It's no longer a prospect for me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on its perspective. You got a prospective buyer, but if that land can't do what I need it to do, then you no longer have a prospective buyer because that land's no longer a prospect buy for me.
And not only that, you selling the land, you're not going to say you have a prospect unless you done ran that person credit or done seen the money.
Right.
But you still ain't got it yet.
So
still ain't got it yet. You still can turn it down. He still can turn you down. If you seen the credit and seen the money, he still can walk away at any time. So it's the possibility of a future event occurring as meaning that it hasn't happened yet.
Right. But the test, though, is do I have the money? Do I want the land? You have the land to sell. But the schooling part is, can he even afford this land? Can he even can he pay for the land? What is he using the land for? Will my land produce for him? That's the schooling part of that corporate example.
But at the end of the day, he still could be a prospect without doing the main thing, and that's giving you the money. He still could be the prospect without giving you the money and walk away and have the money and have everything.
Prospective buyer, the land can grow the corn I want. I do have the money. Now I'm a prospective buyer. Now it's up to me to say, yes, I want the land. But if the other box ain't checked yet, then I'm not a prospect to buy it. I'm just somebody that's interested in it. You know what I mean? There's a difference. A prospect buyer, like say I'm going to sell one of my cars. All right, you want to buy a car. Cool. You got the money? Oh, well, I got to work on it. No longer a prospect. Right now, you're somebody interested. You want to buy the car? Yeah, I have the money. Okay. Now it's up to me to show him what that car is about and him to want to buy it. You know? So the prospecting changes. He has the money. I have the title. Now that's a prospect sale. Now what I need to do is show him why this should be a prospective car for him to buy. And it's the same thing, I think, all around the board. But
I agree with all y'all guys. I agree with you, Wells. I definitely agree with Schoolboy, and definitely you too, Borderland.
For sure,
you know, as us and Dog Man, and like everybody got different standards. You got motherfuckers that got bullshit standards, and you got motherfuckers who got top high quality standards. This is why I say everybody good and everybody great is not the same. You know, my good and your good might be different. Your great and my great might be different. It's all on perspective. And just like Schoolboy say, it's a marketing tool. It's a marketing tool because as soon as you see the word prospect, you're gonna light up. No matter if they're not, you know, it's a marketing tool in today's. But back then, Miss Schoolboy said they could come up to the yard and show you 2 or 3 of them, let them roll and say which one you want and which prospect you want. You know.
But see,
I did that. I did that
we all
myself.
gotta agree. We all can agree with the word prospect I think that's where the confusion is now that I'm listening more. Well, we mostly agreeing, but the thing is, with the word prospect, it has to be some type of action behind it. And but said because of the dog was born
You cut out, brother.
Yeah, you in the goddamn matrix.
But if you listen, when this child,
You going in and out. You in the transport portal. But I understand what you're saying, Wolf. But we can't hear you. You went out.
Yeah. So I think when we talk on the subject, whatever it is to give our opinion of what we mean when we use the word ourselves,
I think
and
it
then
all
people can
depends on the
agree or
end goal.
disagree, and they can have their own idea of
Opinion.
what it means.
Opinion.
It
Yeah.
all depends
Yeah.
on the end goal. What you trying to do with the dog? Where you going with this dog?
But I agree. I definitely agree with Buck City. And I definitely agree with Mr. Schoolboy. Like like it was used as a marketing tool, and people have sold dogs and used the word prospect without the dog even being touched.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it's bred, because of what the breeder seen on the yard, and because he know the family of dogs. And they and they also have some prospects that have been seen that looked at more than 2 or 3 times.
Well, see, you could look at it as a marketing tool, but it was factual that, let's say you didn't buy the dog. That's fine. You know, the motherfucker 1-2-time winner. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now he's not a prospect anymore. Now, see, you could have got him for $2,000. Now you might have to pay, different price, right? So
it was got paid $5,000 or $7,000
like a marketing tool in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. He's got these prospects, untouched prospect. That's what it is. A lot of dudes have big ass yards with 50 dogs or more, and that's just how they categorized their stock. Of course, you could say that they whatever. You could say that, and from this age they frogs, from this age they birds. From this you can categorize your own yard how you want to. This is just the 20s or 30s or 40s of dog men that I talked to, and they all had that same concept. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, we can agree. And Mr. Schoolboy Day, he had they did it a different way. And like you say now,
and it doesn't take away from what Buck said. Those same people with someone else, they would use that word the way he's saying. But with me, because I'm a competitor and people around me, they were competitors, right? If they said that, even if it was Heinzel, Carver, whoever, what makes them a prospect? Well, I looked at them. You want to look at them? Come by the house. You can look at them. Someone else who's just buying dogs that, you look up the ad or whatever, they're a prospect. And I'm not saying they're not. But that's how they're going to buy it, as a prospect. It's a certain age, acts good, bred a certain way. There you go.
Yep.
It's just a little different when you're competing and you're just a regular whatever. Or even if you are a competitor from across the country or 3 states down, send me the dog. He's a prospect. Have you looked at him? Nope. Okay. I'll look at him or whatever when he gets here, I'll bring him along and school him out and see how he works out.
Let me see.
So it does have that, opinion based, and depending on who you're talking to, who asked the questions and what does it mean to you and all that. And that's why for each person, that's why I say you got to come up with your own standards or your own how you look at things, what the words mean, what the dog means to you, and what you expect from it.
Yeah, and everybody got different teachers in different regions.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It has to be individual because there's no way we're going to agree on not even most everything.
hell no. And that's the beauty of the game. We all coming to the same table a different way.
Yeah.
We all coming to the same
only
table
thing that
a
mattered,
different way, change it doing a different way. You know.
Yeah. The only thing that mattered and made you valid or your dog valid was the result. What did it do? How did it pan out? Did it win? Was it a champion? Could it produce? Even if it was a cur, you could argue a cur, cold dog, whatever. But if it produced good dog for you, you're not wrong. How are you wrong? The dog do good shit. It just, in my world, the way I do things, I'm not going to breed curs or cold dogs. Someone else will do it and have success with it. I'm not going to knock them for doing that. They found a way. That dog proved to produce. So how are you going to argue with that? Even though we don't agree, right? Or I hate this mother. He's an asshole. But his dog is a great dog. That's no reflection on the dog. The guy's a jerk or whatever he is. Or he's a snitch or whatever.
Nobody cares because you got the magazine, man.
I'm just letting everybody know. Hey, get your magazine. Quick commercial break. I'm stuck in
I got mine.
magazine. I'm reading everything.
I got mine.
Okay.
And I read it twice.
Right.
Hey, talk about it, schoolboy. Talk about it.
Well, let me get it. I got it right here.
Talk about it. Talk about
it. Hey, what?
Yeah, I read it. I read it a couple of times. Got my buddy in there, Lot Boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And, what I like is the quality, because the content is going to be there no matter what. You know, right. I knew that from before when Buck started doing that. And there's all kinds of stuff that he's going to do with it, but the quality is what matters. That's what brings people in. If you have a shitty, the quality is not up to par, people ain't going to buy it.
Right.
And you're going to have people, collectors, that are going to buy it just to have it.
Right.
Because they're looking like, well, in 10, 20 years, this magazine is going to hold up. It's not going to fall apart. And then you have, this. There you go. One to read and one to save.
One I'm gonna look at every day and one I'm not gonna touch.
There you go. And there's a good article on hookworms, which a lot of times we don't even talk about hookworms. Hookworms can potentially kill your dog.
Yeah.
And I've known dogs to die from hookworms. And one of them died, a champion bitch died from hookworms. Not that she had them, but they put her in the spot where the bitch before her had hookworms. And it being in that spot, she got them, and then it killed her. Yeah. And the reason, I think what led to her dying was because it was after her third win, so she was down, her immune system was down, and she contacted the hookworms, and it killed her a lot faster that way. So you have,
magazine. Hey.
Yep. You got Grand Champion Mayday.
What did you take away from the first one? Like, what would you say the overall difference is from the first one and the second one?
Well, I think this one has more information.
Okay.
And now you're, my memory's not so good. So the first one, I don't know if you covered a particular dog, like in this one, you're covering Mayday.
Right.
Did you cover a particular dog in the first one?
Nah, not really.
Okay, so there you go. That's a different aspect. And you got history, with and of course, what helped too is your profiling women.
Right.
Right. You got Emmy Vertanen.
Exactly.
All that matters. So, I can see how you're thinking just by going through it. You're trying to be all inclusive.
Right.
And
it's a better outlook for the breed,
Yeah, yeah. And then showing them, you show dogs from the past, you showing dogs at dog shows with their awards. So you have to be all inclusive. Of course, you can't go wrong with, Mr. Boudreaux,
Right.
Floyd,
It's some
Skull
history.
Blood has
You
been
gotta
has
have the
been
history
included.
in there.
You got to have the history.
I try to put
Yeah,
the
Vincent.
history with the new school, and I
Yeah, there you
blend
go,
it
like
in
that.
well. Even the
Yeah,
pictures, I blend the old school back there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Blend it in.
yeah, yep, yeah. There's a little skull in my blood too. I like that stuff. Richard Stratton.
Yeah, Richard Stratton
Oh,
weighed in on the Tulsa Barracuda one.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
Oh yeah,
was
he
it.
said
I
something
like his
about it.
take.
That's what's
I
up.
like his take.
yeah,
I reached out like, hey, that worked out well.
yeah, yeah. And his mind is intact even at that age.
Yes.
And the same with Mr. Boudreaux.
Yeah,
My mom
yeah.
was the same way. She never lost her mind. Alzheimer's and stuff like that. She had a clear mind. She had other health problems before she passed away, but her mind was clear. And if you ever get a chance just to talk with any of these people and ask them something, they're gonna be able to tell you they remember all this stuff. Man. This is something
Yeah.
that came up about the TOSA, and Stratton has talked about it, and what he said to you or what he wrote, however you got the information, is the same thing he said 20 years ago or 50, 40 years ago when the TOSA was first being looked at by other dogmen.
Right.
They had different articles on them. They're Japanese dog, and they had the rules of how they matched them and all that stuff. Yeah.
Hey, yo, say, Buck.
Go.
What I was saying was, man, I went to the mailbox and I finally got something in the mail that wasn't a bill or a court document or something. And man, I'm I'm impressed, man. This magazine, like Mr. Schoolboy was saying, man, the quality is great, the information is great, the detail is great, including the ladies is great. Overall, I need number one, man. I'm a hater. I didn't get number one. I gotta send you $25 more to get number one, man. Man, keep going, man. I
There
think
you
it.
go. Yeah,
I
get it.
think it. I think it's
Salute,
the new
brother.
journal, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I'm gonna
know?
get them. Just
Hey
just
man, you
for
got me walking
collector.
out here and checking my mailbox and shit. I ain't
We
got
ain't
nothing
we
in my
ain't
shit
friends.
yet.
We ain't friends until I get mine. I ain't friends with nobody until I get mine. Don't nobody talk
Yeah, I
to
think
Yeah.
it's.
my
Another thing too is something I practice, which is customer service. So I got a hold of Buck magazine, this and that, sent the money, blah blah
Oh
blah.
Lord, let me.
It was here within a few days.
Yeah,
Not
cause you
even.
right there in California.
I don't even think it took 3 or 4 days. It was here.
Say,
Got here right away. That's
say that, Mr.
important.
You
Garcia.
right there in California. I'm waiting over here in Florida, schoolboy.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yep.
Say that. I'm way in the South. I paid for it and forgot about it, and it was like, man, you got something in the mail. But I go to the mail or something. Damn, I forgot. This that fast. Salute,
That's
Buck City,
fast.
man. Hit
What's the
Yeah.
biggest
Buck.
Yeah.
game breaker? What's the biggest takeaway you say in the magazine?
Your overall diversity, being able to just put a product together this quality, that standard, that good, and being able to represent the APBT community as a whole. That's my biggest takeaway of this. It's amazing.
Man,
Old school and new school.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing, man. And the quality, you know what I'm saying? You would think the detail and the quality, you would have think somebody like Mr. Schoolboy Richard Garcia, Sensei himself, made it. You feel what I'm saying? That's how good. That's how good. It's on that type of level. And
It is.
I'm a big critic of everything. I criticize myself. You know what I'm saying, more than anything. But
look like a
it's
National Geographic around this bitch,
yeah, man. It's a
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
who ain't got the magazine, what you doing, man? That's all I'm saying. Anybody that ain't got none of
Yeah.
schoolboy stuff, what are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
is.
It should be on glossy paper. The picture should be clear. And the
Yeah.
type should be easy to read. And people tell me that too about my book. Man, Richard, I'm older, this and that. And the font you use, the type you use, I can read it. and that matters
Man,
too.
the only real
So
question is, Mr. Schoolboy, how Turbo looking now, man?
you look good, man.
I'm
You
finna get to
already
send
know.
you
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm finna get to fill out everything now and send it to you.
Man.
All
Oh
right.
man,
Yeah, we'll take care of it, man. No problem.
straight up.
Yeah.
Big Salt,
Thank you.
what the hell you got going on, man? Up in here. But yeah, man, I can't wait to get my hands on it. You know, I got 2 of them coming. And to make it so
Yeah.
bad, I always throw a little extra sauce when I order mine. And that, hey, but next time you have to let me pay for fast shipping or some shit, man. Damn it,
Well, even you know,
want
if you send it regular mail as opposed to fast shipping, it's only a day difference, really.
Hey, I
You
want
know,
to
if you could.
Amazon Timu that thing, Mr. Garcia,
Oh,
overnight.
okay. All right.
I'll check it out though. We can check out the
All
order,
right.
see what happened.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, you
probably
got. You
coming
know.
though. Last time it took a long time. Buck is
MBK,
in the top of the
this the
country.
other channel. I just named this to the Buck City. This the other channel. I ain't got that many subs on here.
Oh, okay.
This one, but Buck is in the top of the country in the west. I'm in the bottom of the country in the east. It's gonna take a little time. I'm patient.
There been people in Florida getting them motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah, they get. Yeah, it
Getting
doesn't.
them,
There's not
dog.
that much difference, really.
I don't know what's going on with yours.
It did that last time when you said it. Then it popped up.
Yeah.
Well, it could be when the like some people got stuff that I sent them later, a few days later because of the tornado, the hurricane, and all that. In the Carolinas and all that.
Yeah.
Then it takes some time. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
that. Sometimes it's they on strike or some bullshit. It's always something like that. But generally, it arrives the same time, no matter where you send it. Even if I send a letter from here, let's say I send a letter from here to my daughter who lives a mile away. My letter is going to go to Fresno, the next city over, because that's where the hub is, and then it's going to come back to Madera. So it's going to take 2 days.
That's crazy.
That's just the way they do it. So depending on what region you're in, they send all the mail to a hub, and then from there it goes out to wherever.
Yeah, cause my shit be straight bullshit over here.
Yeah, I hope you hurry up. I hope they pull up today.
Yeah, they'll probably put up. It ain't number. It's 114 over here in the East Coast in Florida. So they should pull up about 2:30.
Everybody should be pulling up. Everybody should be pulling up.
Yeah, like I said, I got mine within 2 or 3 days. On page what? 15?
Yeah, he said look on page 15.
Start and finish. That's my man right there.
He might be trolling. He might be trolling. Lot boy. He said, "Look on page 15, Lot boy." He might be trolling you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the ground running.
Maybe tomorrow, today, I'll be looking on page 15 and let me while you got all the damn jokes, man.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got to get off here. I got some things to do. I'm gonna do another video today. Once again, Buck, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Salute to the chat and the panel.
That you said you did on this. I'm gonna go check it out.
Thank you for your input.
All right. You're welcome. Everybody have a great day.
All right, brother.
Peace.
How everybody doing?
What's going on, Big Salt?
Man? Saw Park.
Hey, man. Hey, where Welsh at? Gone? Welsh gone?
Man, fix your phone, man.
Oh, you hear me? Hold on, let me roll my motherfucking windows up. Can you hear me now?
Put the AC on, nigga. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, shit, turn off. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we
he
hear you.
saw.
All right, what's going on? I
Big
What's
see
going
Saw,
on,
what up,
family?
talking
man?
and shit, and you,
We
I
just
don't know
talking
how to
shit,
take that
swallowing
shit.
spit, man. It ain't no
Well,
like
I'm
I said, ain't
scratching and
nobody
cooking
right or
shit.
wrong. It's
What's
it's
up?
just I like those big thought provoking topics. We get on here, everybody showed up. It was a beautiful day, just on one subject.
I'm back.
That's one of them good cooks right there, man.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. And I came in late, but
Yeah, I'll catch you on the back street.
already. But what's going on, Sal? Big
Big
Sal?
What
South.
you talking about?
Can't call. I'm looking. I'm hunting.
Yeah.
Oh shit, not hurt.
Yeah, a lot of double talking and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you
Double talk.
you said hit you on the back. You said hit you on the back street.
Hey, that's things out here. There's curves and shit too. Yeah,
Get your
Hey, lot boy,
magazine.
you ain't get my.
Allegedly.
Hey, lot
Magazine,
boy.
good
absolutely.
look, don't it?
Allegedly.
Hey, lot boy, you ain't get my number out the back street.
Who that is?
Allegedly.
Vito.
Oh, hold on, Vito.
Allegedly.
Hold on. I gotta hold on. I'm finna get it. Right now.
Who's pulling up at a show soon, man?
I'm going to Tom shit.
Line
I'm
up.
trying to get these units. I'm trying to get some units. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gotta move units like weight.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
This magazine off the chain.
Let me call my mom and see if that magazine is something down there, man.
Hey, Lot, set it up, Lot.
Then you put it by the other one. See, that's what I
On
like
the
doing.
back
I like
street.
getting them both.
Yeah.
And it clearly came out the same lab. You could just tell how it's just like, okay, brand recognition. Turn it into a brand.
Boy, it's hot as a motherfucker out here. Good God.
That heat.
But that
So what you think a prospect
better than
is,
no
Saul?
dog. That's when
Soft
that's when
part.
the soft parts. That's when the soft parts get real too.
Hey, soft
When it get
part.
real
What you
hot out
think
there.
a prospect is?
What I think a prospect is.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah, what you think a prospect is?
Shit, a prospect. That's like the second stage of a dog to me. Because if he passed all the school and shit, then he's a prospect. You know what
Oh, you
I'm saying?
said after he passed all the
I think it's
school?
just a stage in their career. Yeah, all the school and then he's a prospect. Yep. To me, other people's shit might be a little different, but that's what I think. I think you know what I'm saying. It's levels.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, look, get that mag, man. I'm
Get
flipping
the
through it right
mag.
now. Another time, man. Ooh, it's kind of thick. This
Yeah.
motherfucker's kind of thick, player.
Got a lot of reading in it.
Yeah. Oh
Good
yeah, Borderland.
material.
We ain't heard from you, man. About what you think about it, man.
Oh man, I'm loving it. I was stuck in it when I told you when I was on. You seen what I was doing when I popped up.
Yeah.
Hey man, good look on it, man. It's a good look
Man,
out there.
you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to, do my part,
And they look,
Yes,
hey,
sir.
man.
I'm
The
trying to
first
do
one
my
was
part.
banging. This one's banging. You know what I mean?
Then your $3 at the trend.
We said this one's a 2-shot.
Yeah, bang.
Bow. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we've
Good look,
been
bro.
up in here, man.
Hey,
We've been up in here,
it's all
man.
about the cook. Hey man, it's all about getting up in that kitchen, getting out
We've
the
been
pots
getting
and
up in
pans
here,
and
man.
cooking it up, man.
We got some good looking dogs up in there, good pictures up in there.
Yeah.
Oh
Good studs
man.
up in there.
Oh man, the studs is just off the chisang.
Yes, sir. Good work. Good
Yes,
luck.
sir.
You said it though. You said you was coming out banging.
I'm coming out banging, man. Now it's really banging. So we're gonna just get everybody get together, man. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna keep banging them until it catches fire. Once it catches fire, it's over.
It's over with.
You know what I mean?
It's on like a ton of net bomb, man.
It's over.
Oh, and everybody in the chat listening, I'm working on volume 4. I just been busy. But I got you. So check the YouTube. But yeah, man, this was a good cook. I liked it.
Hell yeah. Oh, John Hunt.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. It's all about
I like
perspective.
that John Hunt story.
Yeah.
You gotta go check that out. Redemption and growth. I had to throw the redemption and growth in there. We ain't gonna speak on it. We'll let them grab it. They grab it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's some shit in there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a lot to go through. It's a lot to take in, fellas. Get your magazine. A lot of good info in it.
Oh shit! I see Borderland up in there stunting. Borderland stunting, man.
Hey
man, you gotta keep dropping new bangers on them. Keep dropping them bowls on them, man.
Man, everybody
I'm
looking good.
I'm coming off the top rope like Macho Man in '93, man.
Everybody looking good, boy. Ooh wee, everybody looking good. I tell you. Yeah, now that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a hell of a book right there. Not gonna front. It's got a lot of color. It's doing a lot. What we trying to do, man? We're trying to elevate and just get better. Only thing we could do is get better, bro. That's it. Flip it through the other one. There's a couple articles in here that I'm gonna probably use for some, volume 8, 9, 10 shit, but there is some shit up in volume 1 that's just incredible. But that 2, in my opinion, because I went for I wanted to put more in there. I mean, I can't sweep the fat OG Loco spread up under the rug or the picking spread from the first one. I think that's a historical page right there. Or the Epinetti, the Phil Epinetti RIP. Some of the stuff from the first one is definitely
Hold on, you got Phil in the first one?
Yeah.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? You got to pay your tributes, man. Because there's a lot of dog men that, they might not be your favorite, and then maybe they are, but they make their contribution, and they're helpful.
You know what I'm saying? You got to give props, basically give props when props is due, no matter what the situation is.
Exactly.
Buck, did you ever rub shoulders with Phil?
And I talked to him a bunch. I used to get a lot of meds from him and shit. There was he showed up at one of the dog shows, and then that I didn't make, and I was gonna try to get to the one after that, and then I just got into my shit, and then he passed. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it was just one of them things. Because I was away from it for so long, I wasn't able to, bump shoulders with a lot of dudes.
Right.
But
Phil was he was there for me too. I was around the area where he opened up his kennel supply shop at, and
yeah,
man, it was one of the first places I seen where you could go in there. Man, they had all type of pets and all type of stuff. But as far as dogs,
right.
it gave you the variety pack. You know what I'm saying? If you go into the feed store or something like that at Woods or something like that, you know what I'm saying, it's only you're gonna be limited. You know what I'm saying? You might have to go in other aisles to really get what you want for a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now he had it. He had it all, man. I used to get everything from him. He had a bunch of good stuff. Good wormer. I remember the puppy wormer coming in a little jar, and that shit, whatever they whipped that up, man, it worked real good, man. Had your dogs healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But nah, that was a good cook today. I tell you. Definitely a good cook. You know how we do. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna hit you on the. We need to get on this back street, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
hit me
end
on
it,
the
but
back
you guys
street,
stay in
bro.
you guys stay in the back street. I'm gonna just end it. We're gonna just kick it in the back street for a minute.
For sure.
Yes, sir.